Saratoga.
Here we go. Closing weekend officially underway with some major races still to be decided. Flavien Prat tied an incredible mark Thursday. Today, a chance to stand alone with the most stakes wins ever in a single Saratoga meet. His chance today comes in the Grade 3 Saranac on West Hollywood for trainer Brad Cox, who comes off an impressive win in a race where things did not go his way at all. He won anyway. He'll have to beat the daunting New York bred, the Big Torpedo, who comes in off back-to-back stakes wins and owns the fastest turf race of anyone in the field for trainer Tom Morley. Is Arthur's Ride ready to take over command of the older horse division? His Whitney was impressive. Now comes a chance for back-to-back Grade 1 wins for his Hall of Fame trainer. And the meet's leading trainer will send out a pair of talented 2-year-olds on closing day. We'll preview the hopeful and Chad Brown's chances with incentive pay and Chancer McPatrick. It's all ahead on this Friday edition of Saratoga Live, brought to you in part by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net today. We sent Jonathan Kinchin up in a plane, got these shots from earlier this morning. Multi-talented. Final few chances to see that gorgeous sight at this historic track as we have just a few days left here in this summer season. And again, some major events still to be decided. A handicapper, baseball player, and former rider. Jonathan Kinchin, Paula Duca, Rajiv Mirage, good to see you guys. In today's feature, that Grade 3 Saranac, and we'll see if this incredible story of Flavien Prat continues.
It's been outstanding. I mean, he's just been riding lights out. And when you look to see the names that he shares that have had 15 stakes wins in this meet, it's the who's who of racing. And to think that he could break it in only his second full-time summer here is pretty impressive.
Yeah, and I think he's got a big shot with West Hollywood. I think Big Torpedo could be a horse that you could beat today. I understand that he's in very good form, but there's some nice horses in there, and he's riding a horse that's on the rail that has a big shot.
It's a great addition of the Saranac, and I'm actually very intrigued with Take Me to Church, the horse coming in from Europe. There's a lot of speed in this race. The Big Torpedo possesses a lot of speed as well, and he's the kind of horse that could just run them off their feet. Just so many different ways to look at the race. Very interesting race.
That's race 6 on the card today, 3:20 Eastern start time. We'll bring that to you, part of this early coverage as we take a look at what's ahead, presented by Claiborne Farm. We're 3 minutes away from kicking off this card and that early pick 5. Saranac, as we said, race 6, and the start of the late pick 5, race 8 today, which means we have how many races?
You're asking me to do math. It's
12 today, 13 tomorrow.
We got a ton of races over the final 4 days of action. I think 50 races, final 4 days. Track conditions brought to you by John Deere. We are fast and firm for our Friday action, and we're going to kick things off with our Spendthrift Farm 2-year-old race of the day. Of course, Spendthrift, home of North America's 5-time reigning champion, General Sire, into mischief, and we'll kick things off sprinting 5.5 furlongs on the turf in a maiden special weight with a 9-5 favorite right now is a first-time starter for Todd Pletcher, gate to wire. Let's see how they are warming up and check in with Acacia Clement.
Hey, Greg, and we'll start there. And you'd imagine that a horse named Gate to Wire might have a little bit of early speed, but I am wondering how this one is going to break. You can watch the gate work too back on XBTV, in which did break significantly slower than his stablemate in that workout, but looking at the DRF Clocker report, was going best in company. And the turf work prior is by Munnings, whose progeny can certainly handle the grass. And while there isn't a ton of pedigree in the immediate family, does look like a horse that should be able to handle the turf, and Irad Ortiz has given him a big warm-up, and he's perked up a lot out on the track as he was very laid back in the paddock. Has a turf hoof as well. I think this is the right spot for him. Like I said, just as long as he can get out of the gate well. Now, trainer Jack Sisterson sends out 2. One has experience, 7 in Conto, who debuted in the Royal Palm Juvenile and Stakes Company down in South Florida, which is a win and you're in for Royal Ascot. And the winner of that race, Gabaldon, did go on and finish second over at Royal Ascot. So certainly a very live field that he was facing first time out. 2 horses to come out to win. We have not seen this horse since then, but does come in here And again, took it right away from the pony, asked for a big gallop, certainly looks like a turf sprinter, but not having raced since May, I would have liked to see him just a little bit more tucked up. Obviously his experience in that good first turf race where it was a blanket finish there behind the winners, but I thought overall finishing pretty well, and certainly a horse that had hinted at some ability and talent. Like I said, maybe we'll see if he's ready off a bit of that freshening. The other one for the barn is the 2, Gene and Jude, who has a ton of turf pedigree by Kitten's Joy. The Dam was an 8-time turf winner. This is making this gelding a foal to Grade 2 winner Chicago Style, who won 6 times on the grass as well. Absolutely looks like a turf horse, dappled out from head to toe and very, very fit. Breaking from the gate, broke a bit sharper than the workmate, and that was in Kanto, and just moves like a turf horse as well. My one concern with this first-time starter is he was very green back in the paddock, especially getting the tack on, and it's gotten really revved up out on track, so hopefully he can keep his wits about him. That brings me to the 5, Lof Karen. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. You can watch this horse work on the turf, 2 back on XBTV, moved beautifully in company, and I'd actually written down in my notes from that first workout, from that first race behind Ferocious, looks more like a turf horse, just needed a race for fitness and to wake up. He's way brighter today, Greg, and I love this guy getting on the grass.
All right, Acacia, thank you. JK, your thoughts here as we take a look at that 7 horse who obviously faced a pretty good one first time out.
Yeah, I love this horse in here. Got a nice figure on debut. Ran against 3 horses that came out at 1 next time out, including Governor Sam. Only had 3 furlong works leading up to that. It's had like 7 works since then. I think Encanto shows him the real version of himself.
Governor Sam, Tyro winner in Monmouth.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was a loaded race. It really was. And he's come back, blazed the gun. Listen, a lot of us are on this horse. I think this horse is going to make a good account of himself.
For me, experience is what matters the most in these young horse races, these 2-year-old races. Horse that has a race over a debut that was a very promising debut. He ran a very good number against a tough field. I think that experience edge is what puts him up top today.
And I think the 5, obviously not a good race, but who he lost to, Ferocious, who we're going to see. Obviously in the whole
$1.3 million colt who overcame trouble to win the debut, and will be in the hopeful on closing day. Turn heads with that performance as we get a look at the horse who is favored. That 8 just left our screen. Gate to Wire for Todd Pletcher. There he is in those Donegal Racing Silks. Rat Ortiz Jr. meets leading rider. Will be aboard. Patiently waiting to load. I'd say game face on for the debut. We're set to kick off this Friday card. Let's go upstairs to Frank Miramati.
Thank you, Greg. They're moving into line. Just a few more to go in. Here are those Donegal Silks. Gets right up to the gate, does the Son of Munnings. Gate to Wire, goes in. 2 more left to load. Loch Curran and Code of Justice will complete the lineup. Code of Justice going in. They're in the gate. And they're off. Even start. Loch Curran is one of the first out of there, but it is a major lineup across the course. Code of Justice is widest of all. Maui Strong is in the mix, as is Gate to Wire, who is now 4th, but just 2 lengths off the lead. Gene and Jude is down on the inside, 2 clear of Encanto. Then it's a break of 4 to the 2 trailers at the back of the field are Nod to Tran and Jack's Promise. 21-3. They're moving right along into the far turn. And here's Gate to Wire looming up on the outside of the leader, Code of Justice. Code of Justice short lead. Gate to Wire is in second. Nod to Tran is making a very wide bid and starting to pass horses in a hurry as they reach the top of the stretch. It's Gate to Wire on the inside, Code of Justice in second. 2 more lengths back to Gene and Jude in third. Followed on the inside by Jack's Promise, who's making headway far outside. Nod to Tran, Gate to Wire bounds away with good-looking strides. Gate to Wire wins it by almost 3. Jack's Promise was second. Gene and Jude third in front of Nod to Tran.
Todd Pletcher, 14-time leading trainer here at this meet with a first-time starter. Gate to Wire, who gets the win for Donegal Racing with a Rat Ortiz Jr. the meet's leading rider.
A good-looking debut from Gate to Wire. Broke well and sat a perfect trip, stalking the pace setter. Coming off the turn here, you can see Outrider Ortiz look like he's right where he wants to be, just flicking the reins, flicking the crop on his shoulder. And once he queued him up and asked him to go, he really responded, pulling away from his competition.
Yeah, I thought just sat a really good trip, and you know, a lot of trouble for the horses that were behind the 7. And Canto didn't really run well. You could see a lot of horses. We're going to take a look at the start, but you got some prices underneath this favorite here, JK. And you know, Canto didn't do any running. I'm wondering what happened out of the start. There was a little bit of crowding, but not much, right?
You guys know me. I don't do this very often. So when I do it, I mean it. I don't know if the horse didn't do much running or if Javier didn't do much riding. I mean, I know there might have been some trouble there, but I felt like there was a couple of instances in which he could have tried to set this horse down, and he never really did. Maybe he was just trying to, he felt like, maybe it's not going to be today, we're not going to win, so let me just take care of the horse. And if that was the situation, then I defer. But he never really set this horse down at any point.
Well, I think what was happening is there was a lot of movement going on between these horses. They're young horses, they're shifting lanes frequently, and Javier kept trying to find a clear path to run, but he never got sufficient room in front of him. He tried to go out, the horse shifted out in front of him, they tried to pivot back inside, and just never really got an opportunity to set this horse down.
In hindsight, I will say this. If Todd Pletcher has a horse named Gate to Wire debuting in a turf sprint,
right?
Let's go ahead and assume the horse is going to wire the field.
I tell you what, here's a lesson.
That's only going to happen one time, though. There's only going to be one Gate to Wire.
Here's a lesson to learn. This horse worked 3 back on the turf. Not flashy at all. Todd knew what he saw, said, okay, we're going to go on the turf. Look at those last 2 works on the dirt. Black letter works, which means this horse outworked 264 horses in his last 2 works. That's crazy.
9-5 favorite. The win, a 29-1 shot, by the way, for Dale Romans. Getting on turf for the first time in start number 2, winds up second. So even with a favorite, there's still value to be made in a race like this with that happening. 8-1, 2-4, 41-1 shot, by the way, in 4th for you superfecta players. But it's the favorite that kicks things off. We're going to take a timeout. When we come back, grade 3 Saranac still to come, and the New York bred for this man right here, Tom Morley, the big torpedo. We'll try and make it 3 in a row, getting back in against Open Company.
It's a domineering display by the ultra-talented McKenzie.
McKenzie in a dominant performance.
1,200 right there. 1,200,000. 25, 550. Mitchell, 550,000.
And now 500. And 500,000. Thank you.
450, 75. 475,000.
RaceLens is the most in-depth product in horse racing, with unique features found nowhere else. True odds, predictive analysis, and pace projection. RaceLens. It will change the way you follow horse racing and take your game to the next level.
Welcome back to Saratoga Live, and I'm grabbing Todd Pletcher here if he doesn't mind staying for an interview. It was our program brought to you by NYRA Bets. You can bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Todd kicking off the afternoon with a nice 2-year-old winner, Gate to Wire. Todd, as advertised with that name.
Yeah, he's been working well, you know, showing natural speed. He's actually been doing really well in the dirt also, but we thought his turf work was good, and you know, this is kind of the right timing. The 5.5 seemed like a good distance to start him out.
Yeah, you saw him work with Tip Top Thomas, who had won first out for you on the dirt. What was it that you had seen to say turf is what he prefer?
It was really more about the timing and the distance. Like I said, I think he's versatile enough. He'll handle both surfaces.
Coming up, though, this weekend, 2 chances in the Grade 1 Jockey Club Gold Cup. I wanted to ask in particular about Bright Future. Blinkers going on. What was the thought process behind that?
I think, you know, if you look back at his Breeders' Cup Classic last fall, he really dropped out of the race down the backside and seemed to lose focus. And he kind of did a similar thing in the Salvatore Mile in his comeback race. And we thought about making a change, but you know, he ended up winning the Salvatore Mile, so we're kind of keeping that in the back of our mind. I think in the Whitney, though, he didn't handle the surface at all. Javier said even in the post-parade warming up on the sealed track, he just never felt like he normally does. So we just felt like older horse, maybe mix it up a little bit. I thought we got a really good work out of him with the blinkers, so you know, maybe just wake him up a little bit.
Some great insight. Thanks for that, Todd. Congratulations here.
Thank you.
Todd Pletcher with Gate to Wire, and yeah, hinting at some versatility there, Greg.
Nothing like having a 2-year-old win first time out at this meet here at Saratoga. Gate to Wire does just that in a race that there could be some very good runners in here.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Gate to Wire definitely is one of them. And I think Gene and Jude is one I think is going to be interesting. Probably, I mean, obviously bred to go a little bit longer. When that horse gets an opportunity to get around 2 turns, could be dangerous for Glen Hill Farm.
Spendthrift Farm, 2-year-old race of the day does not disappoint. Gate to Wire, impressive in the debut. Race 2. 2-year-old fillies, mile and a 16th over the inner turf. New York breds trying to get that first win of their career. And there's several ways to go in this race. The favorite, just to show you how wide open it is, 7-2 right now on horse who has never been on the grass here, and it's cold. Sorry, we do have a filly, though, from the rail for the Belmont barn.
This is a really tough race to navigate in here, and I think the filly's got a big shot, too. The one here for Junior Alvarado and Belmont, but you also have the 4 here for Riley Mott, who won his first race yesterday ever at Saratoga, and his barn has been rolling. But there is a lot of prospects in this race. The 9, Flavian Pratt, obviously going for the record today in the Saranac. That's going to be pretty cool to watch.
I like the Todd Pletcher charge here, number 6, Richard Avenue. He had a good turf debut, finishing 2nd sprinting. Gets to run a longer distance today. I think that his form is a bit dirtied up with the dirt race last time because it was taken off the turf. But if you look at his lone turf start, it was really good.
And how about a horse for one of the hottest barns, you know, here, Mike Maker, who took money first time out the 5, and then out, you know, everyone's kind of given up on this horse.
Yeah, it's
with
interesting.
A tough trip.
Yeah, this horse didn't do much running at all, but you're right. Did take some money, going a little bit shorter, and maybe the longer distance is going to help.
I think the one surprise is the 10s run 2 really good races. Now, I get it. They're back-to-back seconds. But I thought this horse would be a clear favorite. Didn't you think going into this race?
Yeah, I mean, I thought they would. But it's funny. There's what, 3 horses at 4-1, 1 at 9-2. They don't know who to bet in here.
But he has no turf pedigree. The 10 horse. He has no pedigree for the grass.
Yeah. Not a lot, yeah.
But a contender, and it's a tough race to navigate here. So we had set for this pick 4 coming up. Here's our stake schedule ahead. We'll see if Flavian Pratt can stand alone as the all-time winningest stake rider here in a single meet. And that's Saranac. He'll have more chances as well. And Flower Belt Bowl, coming up tomorrow. We have the Prioress. We see last year's Spinaway winner return in that race. Grade 1 Spinaway for the 2-year-old fillies. Closing day, the hopeful for the boys. And, of course, Arthur's Ride in that Jockey Club Gold Cup on Sunday. This New York bred has been lights out on the grass for the Tom Morley barn, the Big Torpedo.
He's been absolutely lights out, you're right. The problem is he was 2-5 here. He's 5-2 today. It was facing a lot easier. He got loose on the front end and didn't have much chasing him late. Today seems to be a different situation. He's have to work a little bit harder to get to the front, and he's have to work a little bit harder to hold off better horses chasing him.
Yeah, I'm with Jonathan on this one. The horse, take nothing away from the Big Torpedo. He is the horse to beat. The process is very interesting on the outside, West Hollywood, and the horse that that Rajiv mentioned, Take Me to Church, making his North American debut. I think this will be the toughest field Big Torpedo has faced on the
You don't think
turf.
he gets to the front easy by himself in this race?
I think he does. I mean, his speed is his weapon, and he can run fast early and maintain it, and that's a dangerous combination. They have to utilize his speed. The way Eric rode him last time, he made him run fast early, and he separated himself from his competition. I don't think they should try to ration it out. That's his game. He should take it to them right away.
I will say this, though. The 3, Take Me to Church, was a horse that used to go to the front end. Now, West Hollywood, this was a nice win last time out at about 3-1. Had was wide most of the way, but got up. The time before that, JK, the horse went to the front end. I think this horse wants a target, and I don't think it's going to be too far behind the pace setters.
Well, I love the fact that he's versatile. So no matter what happens in here, he should be able to work out a nice trip, and he should be able to stay connected to the Big Torpedo so that he doesn't get loose. I almost called him the Big Torpedo, but I didn't. I like West Hollywood quite a bit in here, and like you guys mentioned, curious to see what happens with Take Me to Church.
I know he won that race, sitting off, but he wants to be forward. But he's not as quick as the Big Torpedo, is he?
No, he's not as quick, but I think he sits that inside trip, right, Rajiv? Maybe?
Yeah, he's not as quick, but he could keep himself in range. And usually in these turf races, you don't see a hot pace in these long distance turf races. I think you're going to get a hot pace today because the Big Torpedo is going to set the pace, and he's going to have a few horses chasing him. And for those reasons, I think Take Me to Church, coming in first time into America from Europe, it's going to suit him. That fast pace early is going to set up for a horse like him because over in Europe, they like to rate horses early and try to make one run. And this kind of dynamics is going to be very favorable for a horse that's going to be coming up from off the pace.
Grade 3 Saranac, our feature, again, 3:20 Eastern post time. See if Flavien Prat can make history. 15 stakes wins in a single meet. And counting, he'll be on West Hollywood for Brad Cox in that Saranac to come.
$1 million, did I hear? $1 million, $1 million on a $1 million, $400,000 on a $5, $1 million $5, and $1 million $6, $1 million $6, $150,000, $1 million $550,000 and a half, $1,500,000. Jody, thank you.
Please hold your applause.
Charlatan, ultra impressive.
It's a new day for a new king.
Horse racing? Check. Weekly promotions? Got 'em. Huge payouts? You bet. With NYRA Bets. Download the app today and bet on any track, anywhere, anytime with live HD horse races, betting tips and tutorials, expert picks, and more. You bet with NYRA Bets. Join now for a new member bonus at NYRABets.com.
They say breed the best to the best and hope for the best.
Vekoma broke well on the outside.
But you don't expect to get speed like this.
It is Vekoma, the one to catch. Vekoma has a 5-length lead in this grade 1 corner. Inside, Vekoma continues to battle on down at the rail. It is Vekoma who's going to win the Met Mile.
Monmouth Park's summer season rolls on with live racing action every Friday to Sunday. Monmouth's 2023 season featured our highest average field size since 2015, the perfect recipe for a prolific payday. With a stakes race every Saturday and Sunday, plus our Win Early Pick 5, Monmouth Park is your summer place to profit. Joining us on site? Lock in your odds with fixed odds wagering at Monmouth Park Racetrack.
French jockey Flavien Prat has experienced success everywhere he's gone. He had become one of the most prominent riders in California before moving his tack to New York in the spring of 2022.
Flight line is in full flight. Wet pink surging under Flavien Prat. National treasure and Flavien Prat.
Well, living in California was definitely not
An easy decision. You don't want to be in the comfort zone and kind of, you know, try to challenge yourself and see what could you do somewhere else. So that was my thought process, moving on the East Coast and riding with obviously a great colony of rider and different tracks. At that point, I thought it was the right thing to do.
Stepping out of his comfort zone is not something new for Pratt.
I left home when I was 14 to get to the jockey school. I actually tried to leave when I was 13 and the school didn't accept me because I was too young. I think I cried for a whole day. Never been that sad in my life.
In fact, Pratt's first introduction to horse racing wasn't with thoroughbreds.
I grew up in the harness business with my dad, who's a trainer. Now my brother was working with him. Obviously, when you see your dad, you know, working from 5:30 to 1 p.m. and going back to the barn from 3 to 6, you learn what's hard work, and I just think it's an amazing way to live. In France, it can happen where there's a racetrack where half of the card will be harness and half would be thoroughbred. I love to go on the weekend with my dad and see the thoroughbred and then went a few times to Longchamp with my mom and some friends. So yeah, it's always been in the back of my mind.
Vasilika strolls home in the Royal Heroine.
By 2019, Pratt had grabbed some of the attention of trainers nationwide, enough to get the call from Hall of Famer Bill Mott in America's most prestigious race, setting up the biggest moment of his riding career.
Obviously, we had seen that he was doing very well in California and was a good rider, and we put him on, and it couldn't have worked out better. What a great trip he worked out for him. He was 3 wide around the last turn, but he was able to avoid the contact that some of the other horses had on the inside of him. We actually did not get bothered. You know, we took a slight little bump coming out of the turn, but really nothing that would have affected us one way or another. Then, of course, 24 minutes later, they hung our number up and made us the winner.
Winning the Derby was a strange experience. A lot of mix of emotion because obviously you win the Derby, so it's great, but it's by disqualification. There's always going to be some controversy, and yeah, I didn't cross the line first. And then you have to wait. We had to wait a long time before they decide to put Country House as a winner, so hopefully one day we'll cross the line first.
He is an incredible rider. He made an immediate impact when he made the move west here to this incredibly tough circuit. He made it that much better just showing up, and now a look at what he is on the cusp of, standing alone as with the most stakes wins ever in this historic racetrack's history, with several chances to get a 16th stakes win.
I gotta say, you know what's shocking to me about that is that Joel and Irad had 15 in the same year. Like, who else won stakes?
That is crazy.
Yeah, that is amazing. Taking notice of that, but you know, and a lot of his races that Flavien has won this meet in those stake races, he was a difference maker, man. And his ride yesterday coming up the rail was just a special ride, and he won a bunch of those races that he could have probably lost.
Miggs talked about him. He said he thinks the greatest thing about him is that he just doesn't have a weakness. What do you see as his best asset?
That's exactly how I perceive him as a rider. He's so polished, he can ride any style of horse. He can adapt to different scenarios. But I think ultimately what makes him have the most success that he's having is that he's one of the best at calling audibles on the fly. He doesn't go, I've seen him go to his plan B and make it seem like that was his plan A. He transitioned into adverse positions so seamlessly, where he doesn't panic. And I think that kind of composure in readjusting, you know, from your plan A is what really makes him effective.
The other thing I really like about him is that, you know, he's a French rider, which stereotypically they're kind of take back, patient, make one run. Turf riders.
Turf riders.
But then he spent so much of his career in California, where speed is at a premium. And so he's got like the best of both worlds. If you need him to be forward, he's forward. If you need him to take back, weave through horses, duck down to the rail, he can give you that too. It's pretty remarkable.
He rides very instinctively, and that's what's different. He's not just like a cookie cutter, has one standard way of riding.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. When you look at a rider, let's be honest, you kind of go, okay, I know how this horse is going to be ridden by this rider. When it comes to Flavien and Irad, they are the two separators that can make the adjustment.
Meanwhile, the favorite in this race coming up, it is a filly who will be trying to beat the boys. Scythian for the Hall of Fame barn of Bill Mott. Let's go to Acacia for more.
And we'll start there, Greg, because sometimes when you see a filly taking on the boys, they kind of stand out with not necessarily matching up. But this filly, and it's often the case with 2-year-olds, because 2-year-old fillies can progress and develop mentally and physically a little bit earlier than their male counterparts. She certainly stacks up. She doesn't look kind of like the outlier in this field in here. And she is probably, like we'll see with National Archive a little bit later, looking for kind of the last opportunity to run long on the turf against New York breds here in Saratoga. There is no girls race in 2 division of the boys race, so makes sense to see her in this spot. And as far as her getting on the turf, I have no problem with that. Tiz the Law has been very impressive with his turf progeny, hitting the grass so far and seeing what his offspring have been able to do. He has had 2 turf sprint winners and 2 going long on the turf. You even think about Out on Bail, who's the stakes winner, sprinting on turf. And the dam of Tiz the Law was all turf as well. So no problems with that one. And you can watch this filly's turf workout on XBTV 2 back, in which she was in company with Dark Magic, a colt who's going to be in race 8 later. And she was far ahead of him, best pulling away, very much outworking him. One thing I did notice was she was kind of hanging on that left lead, but I think that she is in the right spot, and I like what I see from her. The number 6, Richard Avenue, Todd Pledger looking to sweep the early 2-year-old grass races. The lone turf start, he was wired by Dancing Bear when sprinting, and I'd written that day as I was in the paddock that he was just so laid back, just looked like a horse that wanted to go longer. Well, gets to do that after being in an off-the-turf race last time out. He's a little bit more awake, but he is a very chill, calm, cool, and collected customer. Well, he's not the biggest, just that demeanor really lends you to believe that more distance will be preferable, and I certainly like him on the turf. I thought that he ran pretty well on the grass, that lone turf sprint try, and think that him getting to go long on the turf should be suitable. The number 9, Real Savvy, tries the turf for the first time, and he was actually a main track only in that race, so wasn't entered to run on the turf first time out. I think that that's important to note. But this horse does not look like a 2-year-old. He's one that if you pass in the barn, you would think he's a 3-year-old or even a 4-year-old. He's a huge horse. And with 2-year-old off the turf races, they now go to the mile, and it was always the thought that distance was what he would really want. Now, as far as the pedigree is concerned, the best progeny from the mare Savvy Sassy of Bourbon Bay and Brattle House, who were both good long on dirt, but this is also a half-brother to Splashy, who just got beat a nose 2 days ago, and she cannot run a step on dirt. She's a turf horse, and she's by flatter. So I have no problems with him getting to the grass. He's a big, long striding type, a little bit keen in that most recent turf workout, but there was kind of an extra Bill Mott training on the outside that I think made him say, I want to go, 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 moving forward from that. The number 5, Shoot the Waves, is the second-time starter, was also in that same race as Richard Avon. I liked him a little bit that day and thought maybe he would need a race just to tuck up, but didn't really run at all that day. The blinkers go on. He's much sharper today. And while physically, I don't know if he's necessarily built overall to be longer. He's just much more athletic looking. He's by Kitten's Joy, so certainly pedigree-wise should be able to handle more distance. And I do think that equipment change, just a short cup cheater blinker, and just overall how much more clued in to what his job is should make a difference today, Greg.
Acacia, thank you. See how they all look coming up in the post parade shortly. It's still the filly guys favored from that inside post, but there's this Mike Maker runner, 11-1, gets a second opportunity and a first opportunity to go long.
You can see the horses still circling around the paddock, but they've now are saying, I think they're about to get the jockeys up here pretty soon. I think we had a little bit of a tote delay. I mean,
actually, Acacia has more for us on that very situation. Let's go back to her now.
Yes, there was a slight delay here in the paddock. Greg was touching base with paddock judge Patrick Davis as Tote was down for a moment, so we couldn't see any of the odds. You can't run the race without having Tote up and running, so looks like we are back in action now. Horses are getting on the walking ring, and we'll have riders up momentarily.
All right, thank you for that. So we will get to that post break shortly. As you see, 2 minutes to post. That's the reason why horse is still in the paddock. But now finally going to have riders up here in just a moment.
I have a bit of a mixed feeling about this favorite, the filly here. She's out of Dean Henry, who's a filly that I rode going along on the dirt. We won a Saratoga due here at Saratoga, and she never raced on the turf, her mare. And her foals, though, have had success on the turf. So I think she'll like the transition to the turf, and she'll also appreciate the extra distance. I just think that she's not that flashy in her first race to be the favorite in this race. I think there's ability there, but I can't see why she's getting bet down as such a heavy favorite.
I think she might be the speed of the speed, and might try to wire this field from that rail position. You don't really know with Junior. Sometimes he can sit. I picked her because I thought, she gets the rail. And Mr. Mott usually pretty good at placing his horses. And why would he land her here? And I just thought that maybe she would go towards the front end in here, or at least in be forward good position.
I'm just 1, 2, 6, and 9. Whoever's the longest price on the board when they go to the gate, that's my pick. These horses all look the same to me. You're all kind of hoping and guessing with all of them. You're wondering, I wonder if this one's going to do that. Maybe when they get on the grass, they're going to do this. Maybe Richard Avenue's going to run back when they stretch out now. But I'm just going to take whichever one of those is the longest price because they all look the same to me. Right now, the 1 and the 9 are no bets for me. And as we stand, like you mentioned, Rajiv, the 6, Richard Ave for Todd Pletcher seems like the one.
I love that take because if you're splitting hairs amongst the horses, that means that you don't have a strong opinion on which one is the best. The deciding factor got to be the odds.
Well, Real Savvy, who's the favorite right now, that's the 9. DRF Clocker report, strong B report card on that turf drill last time out. Here's the filly, Scythian Belmont.
Yeah, this one does have some speed from the inside and does have some siblings that have won on the grass.
Talk about talent with this one before he ever ran Iron Max.
Yeah, ran a good race first time out, then stretched out, and it was an off-the-turf event and just lost to McDiesel.
Riley Mott going against Dad here with a first-time starter, Masad.
Yeah, like I said, Riley Mott got his first win at Saratoga yesterday. Trying to look for his second with Dylan Davis aboard, who's riding extraordinary.
Mike Maker Barn has Ricardo Santana Jr. on Shoot the Waves.
Took some money first time out, so maybe there's some talent, adds the blinkers. Maybe the blinkers pull that talent out.
Todd Pletcher looking for the early double. Is Richard Avenue with the meets leading rider.
The race 2 back, not bad for this horse. The son of McKenzie, and it seems like the sons of McKenzie's have been running.
Mark Hennig Barn with a 45-1 shot debuting.
Yeah, gets Kendrick Carmouche. Mark Hennig. 8% with first-time starters throughout his career.
Shaking for the bird, Kibar Koa.
Yeah, not many times you get a horse from this barn be favored first time out, and the son of Big Brown by a Freud mare should like the turf.
Here's the favorite with Flavian Pratt.
Yeah, Real Savvy. Ran well. Is a half to Splashy, who ran well here recently. Watch that My Racehorse money, making this horse 5-2.
Kenny McPeak with a third-time starter who gets on turf for the first time.
Yeah, there's not a lot of turf pedigree, but the horse has got 2 good races.
And then 12 Nelson, also eligible, draws into the race 53-1.
Yeah, this horse is drawn towards the outside. Didn't take much money on debut. Didn't do much running on debut either.
Pick 4 starts here. Bit of a delay with those tote issues, but we're back on track. And the favorite remains Real Savvy. Christophe Clement Barn, start number 2, was washed off the turf in that debut. And as we're taking a look here at the 6, Pletcher runner, Richard Avenue.
My top pick. There's just so much to like about this horse. His turf race was good. He was second. Looks like he likes stretching out.
And that man right there picked up win number 44 of the meet in the opener. So 5 up now on Pratt, with time running out, and Pratt's going to be gone for a couple days as well.
Right. I think those, it's unfortunate. If Flavian were to be sticking around for the rest of the meet, it could potentially get interesting. The problem is that when Outrider gets a lead on you, he's hard to catch because he's going to keep winning. It's not like he's going to have a couple of slow days that you could make a run on him.
Let's take a look at Richard Avenue. This was the only turf start that was going 6 furlongs back on July 7th.
I thought he got a good trip. He got the swing out trip, right? And And I get it. The horse just ran away from him a little bit. I thought it was a good effort, though. I mean, he's lowering his head. He's trying here, Rajiv. But what do you do with this effort?
It's the kind of effort that makes me think that he'll appreciate a stretch out in distance, because when he tipped out, it looks like he had dead aim to sprint on by the leader. But what he did was he just ran evenly. And those even pace horses tend to appreciate the longer distance because they can run at that even pace for a long period of time.
5-1 right now. First time going long on the turf for Richard Avenue. Let's go back to Acacia.
Yeah, I totally agree with everything Raj just said about Richard Avenue. I think he's going to love getting to go long on the turf. But one that is also getting to go back to the grass is the number 2, Iron Max, who, as you mentioned, Greg, did take some attention in his first start as well. He was wired by Out on Bail, who we see now being a stakes winner. Again, another project of Tiz the Law, who's been very good. The third place finisher, Paid the Juice, came back to win in an off-the-turf race. I thought he faced pretty salty company when he broke really slowly that day, and he just looks to me like a horse that lacks a bit of focus. He was a little bit tricky getting the tack on even still in his third start. He's incredibly fit, very strong behind the saddle. Think he's well spotted. Just hoping mentally that's going to be the biggest hurdle for him. The number 10, Man of Mischief, gets on the turf for the first time. There's not much turf pedigree on the bottom side, really. He's half to a Praetorian Guard, who was a dirt sprinter, but Instagram has not had any turf winners, has had a couple to hit the board so far, but he does have a bit of a turf hoof, so I can understand seeing him try the grass for the first time. He's lean, very, very fit in the way that he's built coming in here. So we'll see how he takes to it. There is a little bit of length to his frame to suggest he might be able to handle longer. And I just wanted to mention a big long shot, the 8, Shake It for the Bird. Bear with me here. Watching this horse's works, he moves like a turf horse. He has a high knee action to him. There is a little bit of turf pedigree in there. Big Browns can handle the grass. I thought he could be a little bit of an intriguing one at a big, big price, Greg.
Keisha, thank you. Here we go, about to load for this wide open 2-year-old race. Most of these going long on the grass for the first time in their careers. In fact, everyone going long on the grass for the first time in this group. As we see the 2 load here, here's Iron Max, Jeremiah Englehart Barn. He's had a tremendous meet here.
Yeah, Jeremiah's horses have been running great. But the key to look for Iron Max is he's been his own worst enemy. It's not like this horse doesn't have the talent to win this race, but he's still learning, and he's been a bit erratic in his races, especially leaving the gate. He broke slowly the first time out and was running in and out, running greenly. So the first part of the race for him, he needs to break well and run straight and get a good position.
There's Dylan Davis, couple of wins yesterday for Dylan. 31 wins, best Saratoga he has ever had. He's on this first-time starter, the 4 for Riley Mott.
41% ROI if you bet every single one of Dylan's horses this meet. You'd be up 41%.
It's like printing money.
Easy work.
And set. Oh, go ahead.
No, Dylan's mount here, it's the first time started, but the mare, a little firefighter, she was very effective on the grass. So it does have some good pedigree.
Well, let's set it upstairs. Here's the second from Saratoga. Frank Miramati, the call.
12 Nelson will complete the lineup. Goes in. And they're off. Scythian broke beautifully from the inside, joined and passed by Shake It for the Bird, who's up to take the lead. Real Savvy is up close, in hand, and taking the second spot. Richard Avenue is next, followed by Man of Mischief on the outside of Mossad, who's 6 lengths off the lead. Then it's Powered by Cole, who hesitated and was off slowly, now racing 8 lengths off the pacemakers. He's on the inside of Man of Mischief, with Shoot the Waves in behind that group. The 2 trailers are 12 Nelson, and Iron Max is at the back. They swing on to the backstretch, Shake It for the Bird in a quarter that went in 24 3/5 seconds, pressed intently by Real Savvy. Real Savvy on the outside, just a neck away. In the meantime, Scythian asks for a better trip. You can't get one. 3rd and 3 lengths off the lead. Alvarado just peeked behind him as well as they head to the half-mile pole. Then comes Mossad on the inside of Richard Avenue. Shoot the Waves at the Rail, powered by Cole in between those two. Man of Mischief, 12 Nelson, and Iron Max, 49 and 4. Into the far turn. Shake It for the Bird continues to show the way with Real Savvy right there in second. Scythian 2 away in third. Angled and now asked to go after the top pair as they reach the top of the stretch. Real Savvy, Shake It for the Bird, and Scythian are well clear of the rest. They're in the final furlong. Real Savvy takes the lead. Scythian moves into second as Shake It for the Bird backs up. 16th pole, Real Savvy or Scythian. Real Savvy, Scythian on the outside. Scythian, Real Savvy. It will be Scythian. Just looked like a winner every step and only wins by about a head or neck. Second, Real Savvy, a long way to Shake It for the Bird. And then Richard Avenue.
The filly beats the boys for the Belmont Barn. Junior Alvarado had to work late to do it, but Scythian breaks her maiden.
It's had an absolutely perfect trip, Rajiv. I mean, like Mirror Man called it. Actually, she was very green there late, too.
I mean, that's the ideal turf trip. So when you're on the rail and you're able to save ground on both turns, she scraped paint, saved ground, and then sitting off a two-way duel, able to get to the clear in the outside. That's just everything scripted the way you'd want it. She did, coming off the top of the lane, it looks like she was going to blow right on by the number 9 here, Real Savvy, but the pace was pretty slow. So Real Savvy had something left in the tank to try to fight her off, but she was just too much. Swapping leads a couple of times, still learning the game, but a very, very big move forward in our second start.
To back Summers. Bill Mott has beat the boys routing on the grass.
Thought you were going to say it was his birthday and he won on his birthday again.
Did it with Galibrand in a graded stakes race last year.
No, you're right, absolutely. It was a very sharp move from him last year, kind of playing weatherman a little bit,
Yeah.
right? Look, this is an old school move from an old school trainer, right? Give him a start on the dirt and then run him on the grass. Very similar to what we saw on Wednesday in the PG Johnson with Totally Justified, right? Rusty Arnold running that horse on the dirt a couple of times and then finally getting them to the surface that they want. You can see an improve from him. Scythian didn't do much running in terms compared to today on the dirt, but once she got to the grass, she got her picture taken.
And then the 9, who was bet to favoritism first time out, supposed to be on the grass, was on the preferred surface and ran giant, to be honest. The 9 did run giant.
1986. Filly beats the boys here, the only filly in this group. Breaks her maiden, start number 2 in her turf debut. And yeah, Bill Mott did it with Galibrand last year, and then with Anticipation, when the filly version of the race, as you said, was rained out and then beat the boys. Scythian, impressive here. To save ground early from that inside slot. Was early on favored, I think, wound up as a slight second choice in this race. Again, 1986 finish. We'll have these prices for you when we come back, and we'll look ahead and talk big one in the older horse division. Jockey Club Gold Cup, and Arthur's right, he's hard to miss. Looking for back-to-back Grade 1 wins at this meet for the Whitney winner. Stay with us.
In this sport, it takes just one special horse and a lot of people that believe in him. By Champion Arrogant from the family of Broodmare of the Year, Better Than Honor, rose to prominence in the Grade 3 Peter Pan, displayed power in the Grade 1 Belmont, cemented his 3-year-old championship in the Grade 1 Travers, defeating a champion 2-year-old, Kentucky Derby, and Preakness winners.
And the Eclipse Award goes to Arcangelo.
Arcangelo, standing at Lane's End.
Program trading in naval power. What a thriller photo! In Italian to win it.
And it will be McCulloch, domestic spending. Ocean Road.
Victoria Road. Digital Age. And Pearl.
State of Rest, newspaper of record.
Welcome back to Saratoga Live. Glad to have you with us. Our program brought to you in part by Claiborne Farm, 100 years of doing the usual and usually well. Going long on the turf in New York Preds, the filly beats the boys at number 1 Scythian, trained by Bill Mott, who's joining me here. And Bill, we often see this with 2-year-olds who've done it successfully. Think of the Gallo brand last year, that at this stage, they're really able to effectively take on the boys.
I think so, particularly if they're on their game. And this filly had one race on the dirt, which she ran a good second, but I felt like there was probably a little more to her. And we had the opportunity to work her on the grass, and the only New York bred turf race was with the boys, and I said, well, we'll give that a try. It didn't look like we were going to have the option to run her against the girls until we would have gotten down to Aqueduct. So I felt she was ready to go and I wanted to run, and it worked out.
It certainly did. And, it's kind of switching leads, swapping leads a bit in the stretch, still a touch green, but it seems like she's really figuring things out as they go along.
Yes, and she's even been doing that a little bit in the morning. When I breezed her on the grass in the morning, she swapped her leads a couple times, but it didn't look like, it just looked like, as you say, it was probably greenness more than anything.
Well, coming up this weekend in the Jockey Club Gold Cup, we'll get to see your Whitney winner, Arthur's Ride. I remember you saying, though, that this had kind of been the ultimate summer goal for him.
Right, it was. After we found out on Belmont weekend, when he went 1.25 miles here, he looked very impressive. And I had my sights on the Jockey Gold Cup, but we had nowhere to run him in between. So we, vacillated between a couple different races, and it looked like the timing of the Whitney was good. And we ran in the Whitney and it worked out very well. I hope we can get so lucky in the Jockey Gold Cup. But he seems like he's exited the race fine, the Whitney fine, and as of today, he's going into it in good shape.
We can't wait to see him. Congratulations with the win here, though, as well, Bill.
Thank you. All right.
Trainer Bill Mott as the filly takes on the boys and does it with a win, Greg.
And he's got a knack for doing that. Again, back-to-back years, he's done that on the lawn at Saratoga. And we're going to be talking about his star in the older horse division in just a moment here, Arthur's Ride, in that Grade 1 Jockey Club Gold Cup. Scythian, Jonathan, for me, actually did slightly go off as the favorite.
Barely. Yeah, barely. I think if we're talking $55,000 bet on Scythian versus $53,000 on Real Savvy. So, I mean, just a little sliver extra.
Race 3, New York Preds, Allowance optional claiming field, and Neural Network we knew was going to take a ton of money. Chad Brown, Klarovich, Flavian Pratt will be aboard, getting back to dirt. This race seemed wide open, didn't it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I thought it was a wide open situation. I mean, Neural Network getting back to the dirt and, seems to be working well. And look, Chad won 4 races yesterday. You get Flavian Pratt. You put all those things in one little thing together and blend it up, you get 8-5.
All right, we'll talk more on this race coming up in a moment. 1 1/8 main track ahead in that third race. Big one coming up on Sunday. Let's take a look at the Jockey Club Gold Cup by the numbers. First running back in 1919, fastest ever. Skip away would beat Cigar the year before in a win in this race, and then repeats going 158-4. Kelso won it 5 straight years. Became the all-time leading money earner doing it with that 5th victory. Bohemia Stable, they campaigned. Kelso and Glen Riddle Farm, they had a Triple Crown winner. As one of their winners, War Admiral, get it done. Trainer Sonny Jim Fitzsimmons, 6-time winner, including back-to-back years with the Hall of Famer Nashua Eddie Arcaro. 3 times he won it 3 years in a row in his remarkable career. 3 have gone in to win the Breeders' Cup Classic, including Cigar. It was the 11th win in his streak of 16. 16 crown champion, including Curlin twice. He won it as a 3- and 4-year-old. Forgo, one of 7 named Horse of the Year. He won it in 1974, 3-time Horse of the Year winner. And 24 in the Hall of Fame. Shuvi, the only filly ever to beat males in this race. It was 2 miles back then. She did it in back-to-back years. That second year, she beat him by 7 lengths. Incredible history in this race. And this year's edition, obviously the headliner from the barn who we just heard from. Hall of Famer Bill Mott, and Arthur's Ride has really stamped himself as a potential superstar with back-to-back huge performances, including in the Whitney last time out when he took them gate to wire. Let's meet this entire field that he'll go up against, starting with one of 2 from the Todd Pletcher barn, Tappet Trice.
Yeah, my 2023 Belmont Stakes pick. He never really turned into what I thought he would, but maybe, just maybe now, he is, as a 4-year-old. His comeback race was very impressive, what I always thought he would be. We'll see if he can do it on Sunday.
Cooch are here for Rudy Rodriguez, has Luis Saez aboard.
Yeah, big long shot. Going to try to show speed, I would think, from that inside slot, but got beat by Tapit Trice by many last time, and Tapit Trice was coming off a layoff.
Stablemate to Tapit Trice, whose only Grade 1 win came in this race last year, Bright Future.
Yeah, Bright Future puts the blinkers on and looking to give Javier Castellano his 13th Grade 1 at 1.25 miles here at Saratoga.
Unreal.
Huh?
Really, he has a knack for it, doesn't he? Disarm, runner-up in last year's Travers for Steve Asmussen.
I think this is the one horse that's really going to enjoy the 1.25 miles. Yeah, I think a lot of people forget his Kentucky Derby in 2023. He was 4th to Mage, so I think he's a horse that will like the distance.
Pyrenees, off since late June. He was 2nd in the Stephen Foster.
Yeah, it seems like kind of a tough task off of a break since June, but this horse has run well off a layoff before.
Graded stakes winner, Highland Falls. He's got to turn the tables on Tapit Trice and face some other good ones as well.
Yeah, lightly raced, but very consistent. 4 for 8 lifetime, will be in the Godolphin Blue. And like you said, really only one bad race on the resume.
And the Grade 1 Whitney winner, Speed of the Field, who's already proven he loves 1.25 miles.
Loves 1.25 miles. He's got a tactical advantage here. He's drawn perfectly to the outside so that he can do the dictating rather than getting dictated to. I think he's going to be tough to beat in here, but I don't quite trust him at the short price he'll be.
4 to 5 morning line, which means even shorter, but he has shown up in some big moments, including this one here in the Whitney earlier in the meet.
This was a brilliant blowout performance, and you can see his jockey Junior Alvarado right from the gate was hustling him, adamant on making the lead. And once he took control, he had to run fast to get the lead. But once he took control, got into his rhythm, and he just ran them off their feet. That natural speed to be able to carry it at a long distance, that's the ultimate premium package that horses can possess.
It was a weird run race, right? Because Natural Treasure was supposed to be the horse going to the front end. Junior Alvarado said before the race, we are going. Now National Treasure doesn't really like the mud. Now Bill Mott just said to Acacia, this horse has come out of the race well. What do you see in this work here, Rajiv?
Well, he's just in cruise control on the outside and with his workmate. This is what people like to call a maintenance work. So sometimes when these horses are already in tip-top form, it's just kind of holding them together. And he's just kind of just galloping around there with his stablemate, cruising. Not much to say other than he looks healthy and he's moving good, but that gallop out is where is the most impressive part of his workout.
Smokey Robinson mode. Tapit Trice, Highland Falls. How big a step forward do they need to take to contend with an Arthur's Ride?
I mean, fair enough. I mean, Tapit Trice ran extremely well last time in his first start as a 4-year-old. If he takes another step forward, which is completely reasonable in the Hall of Fame barn of Todd Pletcher, he's going to be right there with Arthur's Ride. The problem is his style coming from out of it could be a little bit of an issue considering Arthur's Ride looks to be loose on the front.
Yeah, I think blinkers have completely changed this horse. Irad Ortiz going to have to get him more forward.
Meanwhile, Bright Future, stablemate to Tapit Trice. He's come back as a 5-year-old JK. Was pretty good at Monmouth. Didn't look like he was going to win that race. Somehow did. And then the Whitney, just things did not go his way.
Yeah, he was supposed to win that race at Monmouth, and it wasn't overly impressive in terms of who he faced. Then he came back with the big boys again and was nowhere to be found. He's a puzzling horse to me. Todd probably wouldn't run him here if he didn't expect him to run better than he did last time. So I don't think he's going to run as poorly as last time, but he's going to have to take a big step forward in order to beat horses like Tapit Trice or Arthur's Ride, basically the 2 gray horses.
It's coming up on our Sunday coverage. They all got to catch the Whitney winner in that one, looking for back-to-back Grade 1s at the meet. Right now, let's go to Acacia with a special guest.
Very special guest. I'm very happy to be joined by Jerry McNamara, the Siena Saints men's basketball coach. And Jerry, I understand you've been to Saratoga once before, enjoying the races. What do you think of it?
I have. I mean, look at this. What a beautiful area this is. We did Sagamore years ago, came down here for the day, and again, thrilled to be here. It's beautiful here.
Now, as I mentioned, the coach over for Siena men's basketball. Tell us a little bit about the team and just maybe some exciting things coming up for the year.
Well, I'm so excited. I mean, really, first and foremost, to be here, you know, to get an opportunity to lead a program, to have these guys for the last few months. I'm just over the moon about really how far I can take this team and their maturity, their attention to detail, their discipline. I've been thrilled so far, thrilled.
And you know what it's like to be in their shoes as well, having won the 2003 national championship when playing for Syracuse.
Yeah, talk about a memory. You know, I'd like to hopefully create new ones here and make NCAA tournaments and do all those things. So baby steps, I want to get this thing going in the right direction. And I think I got a really good group to start that off and hopefully head that way.
Well, very exciting. Great to have you here and best of luck with the season.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Always great to have a coach from Siena, and we love getting a chance to celebrate our neighbors over at Siena as well. Greg?
We were just talking off camera. Paulie brought it up, but I was going to bring it up as well. I think this was a game, if you're a basketball fan, everyone in the nation just seemed to be watching. And if you hadn't heard about it, you started to, because it went to 5 overtimes. Just one of the most remarkable was Big East Championship Tournament. It was just amazing, that game that went on and on into the night. It was sensational.
I remember getting a call like after the first overtime, hey, you got to watch this game, and it got crazy. And I remember Jerry hit a bunch of big threes along with Carmelo Anthony, who was on that team. But, yeah, it went on and on in the middle of the night. And I want to say it was UConn, if I'm not mistaken, who they were playing. I can't remember if it was Shabazz Napier or Kemba Walker.
6 threes he hit in the first half, by the way, in that title game against Kansas.
Very upset that we had Jerry on the show. He beat Texas in the Final Four.
Get over it, JK. We'll be back with more. Stay with us.
Nothing stood in his way. War of Will won the Preakness.
At the line, War of Will. That's a photo for the win.
War of Will, standing at Claiborne Farm.
War Cancer, New York's leading turf sire, is on fire at the Big A with Dancing Buck wire-to-wire in the elusive quality.
Dancing Buck is almost there. Dancing Buck.
Power Attack with back-to-back wire-to-wire wins.
It's going to be Power Attack.
As well as 26 Black.
Here's 26 Black surging by them all to win it by a neck.
And Roos.
Torrigo trying to catch them both. Roos to the inside of the red blinkers. Roos gets the victory.
Breed to a winner. War Dancer, proud to stand in New York.
He always showed up. From June at 2 and through 2 championship seasons, week after week after week of consecutive works. That's toughness. He always showed off. You know all about those 4 G1s. Here's his maiden on the Derby undercard. That's brilliance. Now his yearlings are at the sales. That's opportunity. Essential quality. Showtime.
Complexion. Phoebe in Wonderland.
Galibrand asserts herself.
Poppy Flowers putting in a late burst here.
Poppy Flower with the momentum.
Welcome back to Saratoga Live as horses are starting to make their way out of the paddock for this third race, 1 1/8 on the main track for this New York bred. 2 other than Allowance, and we'll start to the inside with Boss Making Boss Moves, the one who did win at 1 1/8 last time out, though for $25,000. So a big jump up in class. First off, the claim for David Jacobson. I thought it was incredibly game last time out, coming back over Colloquy, who we saw win his subsequent start, and was passed and then kind of re-engaged in the stretch. Boss Making Boss Moves, a horse that I had been waiting to see strengthen up behind, and last time with Tom Orley, he really had. Now, he's sharp here in the paddock like he typically is, looking a touch more tucked up than usually today, so that's something I'm going to keep an eye on as he warms up out on the track, and we'll see if he can make himself win 2 in a row. The number 3 Neural Network came back off a big layoff last time out, and he came back as a new gelding, which I think really made a big difference for him, because he was one that maybe sometimes didn't move as smoothly. He would lug in a little bit, and even still, when breaking, he was very awkward early. Now, he goes to the dirt today. I don't have any problems with the distance with him, but I just always felt that he moves a bit more like a turf horse. So I'm going to watch him again with interest too, but I do think second off the layoff, he's stronger today. The number 6, Cut the Cord, he's very sharp. He doesn't necessarily have the demeanor of a horse going long, but he's always sharp. But he looks like a horse that wants every bit of this 9 furlongs, Greg. He's big, he's strong, and I thought last time out was very far back, and when you wanted to be closing up the inside, we'll see if he could get a better trip today.
Thank you, Acacia. There's Neural Network for the meet's leading owners, meet's leading trainer, Klarovich, that red and white, Chad Brown. What a day he had yesterday. 4 wins for Chad Brown.
Massive day, massive meet, always at Saratoga, and Chad is just such an amazing trainer, and their system works that they have.
Here is Boss making boss moves. David Jacobson off the claim.
Yeah, see what happens off the claim here. This horse ran extremely well last time. Let's see if David Jacobson can duplicate that performance.
Wild Banker moved to dirt last start and just missed for 20,000.
Yeah, and if you look at this horse, I understand he's a big price, but his best 2 races and his best races come here at Saratoga.
Here's Neural Network at 8-5.
Yeah, its horse has got a couple of dirt races and stakes, but the numbers are a little bit light compared to this group. Needs to improve.
Mighty Atlas for the Mike Maker barn with Ricardo Santana Jr.
Yeah, kind of a tricky read. A horse that does like to win races and is a player in here.
This one ran a big race on a wet track last start at 1 1/8 miles.
Yeah, it didn't have the most comfortable trip either. It was in between horses part of the race. Thought ran well last time.
There's Silks of Saratoga stable, and then the 6, Cut the Cord.
I'm surprised that this horse is 4-1. I mean, off a 5-2 line. Didn't get off to the best beginnings, got hung out wide. I just think this horse is a player in here going 1 1/8 miles, because the last time this horse went 1 1/8 miles, the horse almost won in an 87 buyer.
Doing a little dressage impersonation there. Let's go back to that Cut the Cord race.
She loses, I mean, he loses to Looking at Roses in this race, but, you know, he's right on top of the pace, and that was a good effort. I mean, this race puts him in the winner's circle.
This is a race that he actually won and Cut the Cord. All right, he's on the outside, and as you can see, he looked like he was in position all the way to win, but he was just grinding away. He's a steady pace horse, which I think he's going to appreciate the 1 1/8 miles distance today. Those kind of horses, they appreciate longer distances because the pace is more moderate and they can just grind away to victory.
That had to be the Bob of life, by the way, how he won that race.
He was wide around there last time too, so I kind of forgive that 4th beaten 4. It wasn't the easiest trip, and like Rajiv said, I think getting back to the 9 furlongs is going to probably help this horse.
The story of this race is that there is absolutely no early speed signed on.
I would say this is the most paceless race I've ever
seen. It's a paceless race, and this is why I ended up landing on number 4, Mighty Atlas, as my top pick. I think this horse is the one that could sneakily become the pace setter, inherit the lead. And if he's able to inherit the lead in a paceless race, he's going to be tough to catch because he has some good back races. And his most recent start, he actually had a slow start and he was stuck wide.
We were just looking at the 3 Neural Network. We got to talk about this horse. JK only had 3 starts on dirt. He won first time out. He showed great ability. He beat Drake's Passage, who's become a monster, especially against New York breds for Christophe Clement. Then he was in against really tough company. In the Jerome, horses that had Triple Crown aspirations, he was in against Maker's Candy. He got the win actually via DQ. He's not been on the dirt since, and now he's gotten time to get older and improve off those numbers, just naturally progressing with age.
Yeah, he got a little older, and he also got the ultimate equipment change when he was gelded prior to his previous start. And so maybe, just maybe, that's kind of got him going in the right direction, and he can kind of, you know, he had the race over the grass last time. He was coming in off a long layoff. He had some trouble in that. If he can find his dirt performance and that natural improvement from 3 to 4, then I could see him winning here. But I just gave you about 3 things that I think could happen, and at 8 to 5, 9 to 5, I prefer things that I think are definitely going to happen.
You know, his second start, he lost to Michael McCarthy horse, Lugan Knight, that was very well regarded. So
Antarctic arrogance.
Yeah, I get it, Greg. I'm with you on the 3. And here's the thing. If you look at the internal splits, the 3 could be the speed in here. I mean, if he wants to be.
And Flavien is warming him up with intention, like he wants this horse ready to go from the gate. And I'm surprised when we had the camera on the number 4, Mighty Atlas, that he was just being walked around in the post race and really being kept calm. You know, the jockey that's the most assertive from the gate with intention to go forward here is the one that's going to really be able to benefit from a paceless scenario.
There is Ricardo Santana Jr. on Mighty Atlas with more on this 4-year-old. Let's go to Acacia.
Yeah, just what Rajiv said, a very quiet and reserved warm-up from the 4 Mighty Atlas, who that had been my complaint with him last time, that I was hoping that he would be moving a bit better today off a little bit of a freshening, and now we do see Ricardo take him back over. It looked like the overgirth had either come a little bit loose or maybe just needed to be adjusted, so they got that tack settled, and now I do appreciate that Ricardo's taking him away from the pony, but as you can see, he can be a little bit of a trickier type of horse, kind of wanting to throw his head up there. He's one that sometimes gets a little bit antsy in the gate as well. He used to be a little bit more forwardly placed, broke slowly last time, and like I said, before that last race, he had a very quiet warm-up. I appreciate that we're seeing a little bit more energy from him on the track now. The number 5 left him behind. They've kind of gone back and forth from turf to dirt, and they've gelded him. I always thought he was not overly built like a turf horse, and so last time out he wanted a pretty generous price going the mile and an eighth, and showed that he was able to do it, and was in tight between horses. Katie Davis having to kind of muscle her way out a little bit, and he responded. This is definitely a horse that has improved mentally and physically coming along, so he's stepping up now to the next level of competition. After winning the first level allowance last time, you go up to this second level, so that's often a very big jump as well. But if he could get a similar kind of trip, then he could be a player. My one concern is that he's never one who's shown wanting to show any early speed, Greg.
Acacia, thank you. Katie Davis and the Silks of Saratoga stable. Silks of Funny Side, 'tis the law, and a win here for Katie would be number 300 in her career.
Nice milestone there she's sitting on. And Katie's been riding really well. She hasn't gotten a lot of opportunities at the meet, but every time she did, she really capitalized on it, winning 3 races so far.
And I wouldn't discount this 5 because Barkley Tag having a nice meet. He got this horse into his barn 4 starts ago, and he's the kind of guy that they progress a little bit. And I know this horse won over the slop at the mile and eighth, but Barkley puts a lot of conditioning into his horses. I used this 5 on my pick 5 ticket because I thought this horse was a player.
The 5 wins here. There'll be some Saratoga fans, I'm sure, that are cashing some doubles with a 'tis the law offspring winning the race prior.
Yeah, I thought I saw that school bus somewhere around here. They used to take that big school bus with all their fans on that Triple Crown ride with Funny Side.
I was happy to see Ricardo Santana take the number 4 Mighty Atlas away from the pony and give him a more energetic warm-up coming towards post time. I'm hoping that the intent is he's going to gun him out the gate. If Ricardo guns this horse out the gate, right, and establishes the lead, the other horses in the race doesn't have any speed to really run with him.
How much time do you need after the warm-up? How much time does the horse need a breather before you go back to the gate? How much time will they give him?
Sometimes you just want them hot and queued up, not necessarily giving them a breather. If I want a horse to break out the gate running all the way up to the point of entering the gate, I want him to be building upwards. There's no time I want him to decompress and chill out. I kind of want him to keep building towards the top, most intense level of him without making him the lids come off.
Did you guys see Flavien Prat with the 3 showing any early pace here?
That's what I said. I said the 3 does. If you look at the internal fractions of this race, I thought the 3 or the 6 could go to the front end here.
Well, the thing about the 3 is that in order for the 3 to win here, he has to be a version of himself we've never seen. So I don't know what that is, right? Because he's been gelded. He didn't run particularly well on the grass last time, breaking slowly. So in order for him to win this race, he's got to be different than anything we've seen. So it's kind of hard to predict. The one thing I will say, though, is Flavien, he's had the success he's had here. because he's aggressive. He gets his position moving
Could
forward.
put Flavian on a donkey right now to get him up for third.
7-5 favorite. There is Pratt. And again, he's going to have that chance to stand alone with the most stakes wins in a meet in that Saranac on West Hollywood. He moves in on the favorite here for Chad Brown and Klarovich. We're set for the third. Let's go to Frank Miramati.
Last few runners left to load. Mighty Atlas has gone in. Left him behind second last. Cut the cord to complete the line. They're in the gate. And they're off. Very even break. Cut the cord. Neural Network out quickly. And Mighty Atlas in between them. Three of them vie for command. Wild Banker comes away in the fourth spot. Now 3 lengths off the lead. Left him behind is second to last. And Boss Making Boss Moves is at the back. 6 lengths covers the field. They round the first turn with Mighty Atlas in front. Cut the Cord is in second. And the opening quarter mile was clicked off in 24 seconds flat. Neural Network is racing in third. Left him behind fourth. Then comes Wild Banker, fifth and on the inside, 5 lengths off the lead. Boss Making Boss Moves at the back. So they straighten up for the run down the backstretch behind Mighty Atlas. Carving out the fractions, leads it by a length to Cut the Cord in second. Neural Network on the rail in third, left him behind fourth. Wild Banker is now in the 3-path, fifth and 5 lengths off the lead. Boss Making Boss Moves needs to pick it up from behind 48 and 3 for the half mile. It's Mighty Atlas, the controlling speed. Cut the Cord has to get closer, a length back second. Neural Network hugs the rail in third. Left them behind, gets a little bit of a push. In fourth, 4 lengths off them with less than 3 furlongs to travel. They went 6 furlongs in 1:12 and 4. Ricardo Santana Jr. has been on the front runner throughout. Mighty Atlas, Cut the Cord, still there, won't go away. Neural Network angles off the rail for the drive there at the top of the stretch. Mighty Atlas digging in, Cut the Cord, and Neural Network is set down in the center of the racetrack. Has 3 to make up in the final 1/8 of a mile. He's gradually trying to get to Cut the Cord and doing so. Neural Network, Cut the Cord, Cut the Cord. Neural Network will come for the wire together. Cut the Cord, tough as nails. Here is the line. Cut the Cord, held on. Neural Network just missed. Photo for third. Left them behind, and Mighty Atlas.
Cut the Cord. Kendrick Carmouche sent this horse early and able to hold off that late run from the favorite Neural Network for the win, JK.
Yeah, look, Flavian gave the 3 an absolutely perfect trip, but Kendrick gave a pretty darn good ride too, and was the difference in this race. They both did everything they could for their mounts to give them the best chance, and I think the best horse won.
This is what a Saratoga jockey colony should look like and looks like. Every jockey rode amazing in this race. Even Ricardo Santana on my top pick, Mighty Atlas, ended up fourth, but everyone rode the way they were supposed to, and ultimately only one horse could win. It was Cut the Cord today. He held off Neural Network, but all these jockeys rode a great race.
I tell you what, if you go back deep and stretch there, when Kendrick used the left-handed crop, her ears, or his ears, went straight up like antennas, and he took off. And if you look at it again, watch here, right here, watch the 6. He's starting to move right here. Watch right here, he's got his ears pinned back, but watch, they're still up a little bit. He's paying attention, but watch right here when Kendrick kind of strikes him with the left hand, his ears go straight up, and they are straight up right now, and he takes off. And when you get towards the wire, his ears are straight picked, and he's flicking them back and forth, almost like he's playing with the 3 here, Rajiv.
Yeah, when the horses flick, looking around, they prick their ears forward, and sometimes that's when they lose focus. But when the number 3 Neural Network came up outside him and Kendrick went left-handed, he re-engaged the bridle and pinned his ears backwards.
Either that or he's just got big ears.
You won't see a photo much closer than this. This was very, very close, and Frank called it live. I think we all saw it live, but it was an inch.
Neural Network looked like he was primed to roll by, but not to be. Game effort from that one right there, and nice ride. Kendrick Carmouche Cut the Cord. Jeremiah Engelhart, terrific summer here at Saratoga, continues his undefeated 2-year-old Molplex with a couple of stakes wins, including the Grade 3 Sanford. It's 5-2 on this 5-year-old. It gets a 6th win in 20 career starts. Cut the cord here in the 3rd from Saratoga.
He possessed such natural athleticism.
It is Golden Pal winning the Juvenile Turf Sprint.
He's very, very agile and quick.
Golden Pal has repelled the challenges.
Each and every race, he just got better and better.
Golden Pal broke like a rocket. Golden Pal, wire to wire.
He's a very confident horse.
Golden Pal, the lead is out to 5 lengths in deep stretch.
He's just got a brilliant mind.
They're all behind Golden Pal.
I'm going to be breeding everything I have to him.
The biggest day of the year at Presque Isle Downs is even better. Friday, September 20th, along with Parks Racing and their great card to the following day, Presque Isle has 2 new wagers, each with a 15% takeout. The Keystone Daily Double combines the Grade 2 Presque Isle Masters with a Grade 1 PA Derby at Parks. The Pennsylvania Pick 4 has a mile in the Masters at Presque Isle, plus the PA Derby and the Grade 1 Cotillion from Parks. Friday, September 20th, first post at 4 p.m.
Welcome back to Saratoga Live, brought to you by NYRA Bets. You can bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Get started at NYRABets.com. In race 3, a battle to the wire, won by Cut the Cord and Kendrick Carmouche, as the trainer Jeremiah Engelhardt joining me here along with the whole family. Maya, I know, always good to have the family in the winner's circle here at Saratoga.
Yeah, they've been my good luck charm for the last few years, so I kind of always want to try to get them out whenever I can. So
Enjoying the last few days of summer too, but Cut the Cord, incredibly game today for a horse that seems to really appreciate the mile and an eighth.
yeah, he does. You know, the longer it always seems like the better. I always apologize to Kendrick, giving him a leg up, because I know how hard he's going to have to work. And when he came back, I thought I was going to have to give him a massage before he got back in here and maybe some oxygen. But he said, I don't think I've ever ridden a horse as hard as I've ridden this horse today. But it's just a lot of fun. He's the house horse, and you know, it's a great way to kind of get to close the meet.
Absolutely. Kendrick rode him hard today for sure. What a nice performance. And also got him forward early, I think was kind of a key.
Yeah, I didn't even say anything to him. He always asked me, like, are you going to give me any instructions? I said, no. I said, you know the horse. But I kind of figured that would be his game plan going a mile and 8 today. We got, hung out wide last time on an inside, favoring track, and really didn't have the speed to keep up going a flat mile. So I figured he'd kind of play, would try to get away from there early, and the 4 would get away, and then you just got to hope you can hold off, obviously Chad and Klarevich's horse that, coming back to the dirt. So I was glad to see that he was able to hold him off.
Very game today, and I wanted to ask you about a filly that's been quite game, Tricky Temper, coming back in the Prioress this weekend. Seems like she's been thriving off racing.
Yeah, that's what we're kind of, I wasn't really planning on running her back, and the racing office, they called, and I'm like, well, got the wheels spinning a little bit in my head, and she was doing really well. So I'm like, I'm just going to do the same thing I did with her going into the last 2 races. We schooled her last week in the paddock and let her turn her hair, and we'll bring her over tomorrow. If she's nice and relaxed, I'll probably feel pretty good. It's a tough spot, but, it would mean a lot if she can get graded stakes place too. So we'll give it a shot.
She's been great this summer. One last question. Guys, how proud are you of your dad? Very. We love that. Proud family here in the winner's circle. Greg.
Team Engelhart enjoying a terrific summer up here. And that is how close it was there in this third. But as close as it was, it still didn't seem like Neural Network was not going to go by.
No, it didn't seem like it at all. I mean, look, Flavien Prat gave Neural Network every opportunity. It was an absolutely flawless ride. He just, I think we know who Neural Network is, and I don't think he's probably just not that good. And they tried everything they could with him, with the gelding, and giving him some time as well.
We got to give a lot of credit to Kendrick Carmouche. I mean, the way he rode that horse, he knows him so well. He knows he's a grinding the gears kind of horse, steady pace. So he rode him hard every step of the way. I mean, showcasing his fitness and his ability to really help a horse out and hold him together over a long distance.
I'm just not giving up on that horse, Neural Network. I still like that horse. He's got some ability.
Well, we see if Chad will sell him to you.
Can I borrow about 150,000? Fourth race coming up next. 6.5 furlongs, 50,000 starter allowance. I'm about to take a world of hurt on Twitter.
Yeah, if anybody doesn't know, the real Greg Wolf tweeted out that the Ford Dillinger is an immortal lock. But hey, I trust in my colleague, yet I don't.
What did you
trust in
say
my
when
colleague.
I told you Dillinger cannot lose today?
I said the horse has no shot.
Did you really? You feel that way?
Yeah.
Has no shot.
No, I just think he's a play against.
Wow. Okay, why?
And I love you.
Wow.
That's fine.
In a nice way.
That's fine. Why do you think he's a play against?
I'm backing out of this.
This is a horse that was an old Bob Baffert horse. This horse has lost at 30 cents on the dollar, 50 cents on the dollar, got the job done here. I get it. For a 25 non-2, came back in a starter allowance, was the only speed that day, got beat by Own the Field. I get it. There's some other horses, but I just don't believe in this horse. I don't like this horse. Kind of pulling an Andy Serling, ain't I, right now?
I think he has a decent chance. I just don't think he's my top pick either. I like the number 1 Bramito coming back to the dirt. So, yes, he can win, but I don't know about the mortal lock kind of.
I
like sure, it's winner of the meet kind of talk.
I like your boldness. I love it.
We'll see what happens. You're against him too. I'm the only one here who
No,
likes him.
I like the horse. I don't have a problem
but
with
your
the horse.
top pick is someone else.
Yes, my top pick is someone else, and I like the horse, but just not enough to go on X and ask for a bunch of people to bother me by saying the horse can't lose.
Horse racing X is just so much fun.
Yeah.
Decided to give myself a little pain today. We will see what happens coming up in this fourth race. Some of you already know what's going to happen. Paulie modeled this for us yesterday. This is not Paul. But, man, you look good in this thing, Paulie.
Well, you were able to zip it up, and you could use it for a tie. There's the hood in case it rains. Probably could have used that earlier, but hey, we still got a nice little
Is that
winter.
you modeling it? Who's modeling that?
I think that's Josh Abelson modeling it.
Sunday morning lineup early. Chance to get our final giveaway of the summer here, that Saratoga windbreaker. It's been a terrific season of giveaways. We've got some good merch we've given out.
My on the shirt is going to be the jersey. Got the windbreaker over it, and then the trucker hat. I'm going to be all Saratoga decked out when I go back to Florida next week.
Tumbler?
And my tumbler.
It's got to stay hydrated, Raj.
Got to stay hydrated.
We're going to take a timeout. We'll be back. We'll meet Jesse and Chick the Pony. Important behind-the-scenes team here when we return. Stay with us.
Horse racing? Check. Weekly promotions? Got 'em. Huge payouts? You bet. With NYRA Bets. Download the app today and bet on any track, anywhere, anytime with live HD horse races, betting tips and tutorials, expert picks, and more. You bet with NYRA Bets. Join now for a new member bonus at NYRABets.com.
It's amazing. I mean, we're used to having horses in claiming races, and here we're at the undercard of the Belmont.
And they're off in the Woody Stevens, and here's Bookham Dano, who has blown by them all. Bookham Dano, Prince of Monaco in between. It's going to get very close. Bookham Dano
winning on New York's most important day of racing.
I can't. That was awesome. He's the best.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. RTN has packages that start at $5 per month.
This is Chick's Palace. He's a 15-year-old thoroughbred that I've had since he's a yearling. He's probably the only horse that I own, that I will ever own, that I trust with my life 110%. Half the time he sees what's going on before I do. That's the best part about him. And if I ever do miss, it's my fault. It ain't his.
Chick's Palace. And Chick's Palace is going to take the finale here.
It takes a real good one to make this job because they got to be able to get hyped up, got to be able to stay quiet, got to be able to go 0 to 100 when they gotta.
This loose horse Apocalypso still headed in the wrong direction. Heck of a job by the Outrider. That needs to be more publicized here. What a catch.
If I was on any other horse, I probably wouldn't have tried what I did. That horse was going head on at the field, and I got on the radio and asked the stewards if just give me one shot. I see it as a lifeguard, you know. We're out here just hanging out, watching everything that goes on, but when that siren goes on, and we got to be there. We got to run into the fire. We don't run away from it. I've got 2 quarter horses. I got Smokey that I caught one off of in the races on opening day. He's a pretty cool horse, but I like my thoroughbreds. I mean, Chick, he's my #1 catch horse, and he's made me what I am today. He's one of those, if I do go to ride another horse, he throws a tantrum. He does not like to stay in the stall. He likes to go out and work every day. When Fox Sports need him, they use him. I wish I can clone him. If I could have 100 of them, that's all I'd be riding the rest of my career.
Well, these are the unsung heroes of the racetrack. Acacia and Jesse and Chick, both couple of heroes.
They certainly are. And Jesse and Chick not out working the afternoon today. They'll be back on the track tomorrow. But I have a couple Outrider ponies behind me as well. But I started doing the pony features last year because I really wanted to highlight just how incredibly versatile the thoroughbred is. You know, we often see horses when they retire from their racing days go on to be show horses, jumping, dressage, eventing, whatever that might be. And that is wonderful. But they can also come back to the track and kind of extend their careers and their jobs here at the races, just doing something different, including being an Outrider pony or even a stable pony. And I just think it's always so awesome when you get a chance to see a thoroughbred that adapts to that kind of job and show yet again just how versatile and how much they have to give. And loved getting a chance to learn a little bit more about Chick's story and see all of the work that Jesse has put into him and all of the horses that he has. And our Outriders here are really some of the true heroes of the racetrack as well as their horses, Greg.
And Paula, you were just telling us he's getting a little extra time at the harness track.
If you know Jesse, Jesse's kind of a character. He's a guy that started working for Dominic Schettino. I know that you know him as well, Rajiv. He's been around the racetrack. He's held a lot of different jobs, worked in a lot of different barns. He's galloped a lot of great horses. And now being an Outrider now, he loves it. And yeah, he's dabbling in the harness racing game. He sends me texts. His horse ran 4th last night in the last race.
We'll get back to the action today here. A 50,000 starter allowance at 6.5 furlongs. And that horse right there, Dillinger, 2 to 1 for Brittany Russell. Manny Franco will be aboard. And Raj, Paulie, JK, all going elsewhere.
What exactly did you say?
What did I say?
Yeah, on Twitter. Like, what did you tweet?
I said he will not lose today.
Period. That's it. No emojis?
and then I said good luck.
Okay, good. Look, he can win. I don't think he can't win. I'm just nervous now for you.
I'm kind of rooting for you now.
I'm shocked you all picked against him, to be honest. But
what I do like about him, though, Greg, in your defense, is that he possesses some natural early speed in a race that, for this level and this distance, it's going to be a moderate to slower kind of pace. So it's going to benefit horses that are up close to the pace, and he has that natural early speed. I think that's the best thing I like about him. And he's definitely fast enough to win the race.
For me, okay. Anything else?
I just don't. I want to know where those last two races came from. Where?
Saratoga. So for me, figures-wise, that I look at the last two races he's run quicker than what anyone has ever run in their career in this field. He's paired up back-to-back numbers. He's working strong. I think he's going to take a move forward. We'll see what happens.
Quicker than number one Bramido?
Yes.
When he broke his
we all look at different numbers.
Right, right.
Let's go to Acacia for more.
Well, we might as well start with Dillinger. One thing I will say about him, we had kind of a similar conversation about him 2 starts back. Is he one that you trust and you rely on in that race, or is he one that you kind of proceed with a little bit of caution because he was taking such a big drop in class and had run some pretty good races and won by 8 1/4 lengths that day, and he just looked best that afternoon against his competition. He was just a standout in the paddock, a standout warming up. I wasn't in the paddock for his last race, but stepping back up to starter allowance, he ran quite well yet again. Now, looking at him today, he's not as much of a standout. It's not like he looks like the man against boys like he did when he won by open lengths. But his last couple of races have been strong, and his most recent effort certainly makes him a big player in here. He's very fit. He's held himself well after having shipped back down to Fair Hills and then coming up, staying here since that last August 7th effort. And we'll see if he can find himself to the winner's circle today and does have that tactical speed. But a couple of other intriguing runners. There is an entry for Linda Rice. The number 1 Bramido is one we'll take a look at here in the paddock, as this one was claimed off of a bit of a layoff last time out when running long on the turf, and I had written that day, does not look overly turf meant. And so we get a chance to see him back on the main track today, which I think is his preferred surface, and also cutting back in distance I think should help. Now, he got very hot last time out, even though he was a new gelding. He's washy again today. I do wish he would looked a touch better in his coat, but again, the fact that he is getting washy is normal for him, and I just think that these are better conditions for him as he also gets a chance to make his second start off a bit of a layoff. And when you play the claiming game, you look to see what they'll be eligible for. That was his lone start in a claiming race, and now he's eligible to run in this starter allowance field. Looking at the number 7 in here, Showtime. Same kind of similar situation with this one. Won the non-winners of 2 condition last time, claiming, and was picked up out of that effort to go here into starter allowance field. My first time seeing him as he comes in from Kentucky, but I thought another horse that had the ability to be a little bit forward should he like as well. It was a very fast race, but he had fast races out in California to go back to, and did have some California type speed that he could potentially flaunt here. He's not over the top, but he is incredibly powerful, strong, well built up behind as well. I think he is a major player to try and get back-to-back victories. This one for the new barn. Greg?
Acacia, thank you. A look at the 7 there. Showtime meets leading rider will be aboard. Off the claim for Jack Sisterson coming in from Churchill Downs.
Yeah, I mean, this horse is the one that I think is the one that could have your X, your Twitter
deleted.
Yeah, or at least muted for the day. Yeah, this horse is running for 40. And what happened at Churchill, and Linda took advantage of it last year until they changed the rules, is because of the influx of purses. A lot of their claiming races, I think, probably got a little bit tougher. People were chasing some purses, and I think that if you could claim horses from there, find a way to get them somewhere else, you can have a pretty good horse to probably get a little bit of a discount on, and we'll see if that happens with Showtime here for Qatar Racing.
Entry, the 4, and the 7, all at 2-1 on the board.
Yeah, wide open race. I think the other part about the 7 is that the dirt racing was so tough at Churchill Downs because nobody wanted to run on the turf. I mean, I keep reiterating it to everybody, like, the turf racing was not much towards the end of that meet, and they've already canceled it already for the next meet. So the dirt racing got really tough, and you can see that the dirt racing has translated here, especially earlier in the meet. Now it's evened out a little bit, but I do think Showtime is a major player in here.
There he is with Arad Ortiz Jr. and the Soaks of Qatar Racing.
I will say this about your horse, right? Just try to make you feel a little bit better. Dillinger.
Okay,
Yes, your horse. Yeah, the horse that you're excited about. The horse ran April 21st, first time after getting gelded, and maybe needed the race, didn't run that well. Then came back sprinting in a fast-paced race, was 6 wide. Maybe that didn't work well, and then got up here to Saratoga, change of scenery. I mean, look, I'm not trying to be mean to our friends at Laurel, Delaware, but I like Saratoga more than those two places. Maybe the horse does. And then finally started running big numbers. They got it figured out a little bit.
Some horses do. They come to certain racetracks and they blossom. We'll see if that's the case here with Dillinger. He can move forward. The entry. Here's the first half. Bramito with Dylan Davis.
Yeah, this horse was claimed last time by Linda Rice. Off the turf, switched to the dirt.
Outside post for the 1A Tommy Two Socks.
Yeah, this horse ran extremely well last time, but that was going 5.5. Has to deal with another 1/8 of a mile.
Neuschwanstein gets the rail for Wayne Potts off the claim.
Yeah, winner last time in the 25 non-2. Now goes up to the starter allowance. This is a gradual leap in class, but not much.
Wow, a lot of action on Dillinger. How'd that happen?
Well, somebody on Twitter gave this horse out, and Greg Wolf just can make the favorite, 3-2.
Turn up the trees. Junior Alvarado at 17-1.
I'll tell you what, this horse could be a problem for Dillinger, Wolfie, if they ride this horse aggressively, has a bunch of early speed.
Very stormy. There's Luis Saez for Bruce Levine.
Yeah, Bruce had quietly having a really good meet. This one for Bloodlines Racing Partnerships and Luis Saez, who's heated up.
And here's Arad Ortiz Jr. for Jack Sisterson off the claim Showtime.
Yeah, drawn towards the outside, has some tactical speed, and the claret and gold of Qatar Racing.
On his toes. Let's go back to his most recent start. This was a win at 7/8 for 40,000 non-winners of 2 claiming.
Yeah, and got a fast number that time. Paulie was, and did it well too, was wide all the way around.
Yeah, that's the key. I mean, sometimes we talk about the rail at Churchill can be golden. When you're in the middle of the racetrack making this move, it's a real win, Rajiv. I thought this was a good effort, and the 2 horses are way clear.
Yeah, the time was fast as well. But this is a step up in class today, running against the allowance level, so he does need to step up a little bit. First off, the trainer change. Maybe they do something a little different. He's fresh. There's some things I like, and he draws a good outside post. I think, and he possesses some natural speed that's going to put him into the mix early. Greg, based on the price of Dillinger right now, I think you should change your X handle from Real Greg Wolf to the influential Greg Wolf.
I make favorites apparently at Saratoga. No other way to explain it. 6-5. A lot of horses who want to be forward in this race. We'll talk about who is going to get to the front in a moment. Let's go back to Acacia.
We'll talk about the other part of the entry, the 1A Tommy Two Socks, who did win last time out, going 5.5 furlongs. And this is a horse that's just so compact in the way that he is built that it just really leads me to believe that the shorter, the better for this guy. He's broad, he's stout, he's kind of a burly type of horse. He's a little bit more forward. He's one that first time I saw him 2 starts back, totally washed out, or I should say early in his career down in Florida, totally washed out. And he's been so much better up here in Saratoga. And to JK's point, some horses really do just thrive training up here. Even in the busy season when there's a lot of people around, it's pretty quiet training, especially if you're over on the training track, even here on the main track. The cool air in the mornings during training hours, the horses really, really thrive on that as well. The Adirondack air, it just seems like a lot of horses do so well up here in Saratoga when training. The number 2, Neuschwanstein. I just wanted to mention this horse because I noticed a change of equipment. Last time out when he won, he he kind of had his head turned out late, and he was outfitted that afternoon with a cage bit or a Houghton bit, which gives the rider a lot more control, particularly for horses that tend to lug in or have that type of head carriage. He has a snaffle bit on today, so much softer equipment in his mouth. Given that he has the rail, Javier Castellanos giving him a big warm-up. Just watch for that throughout the running of the race and see if maybe softer equipment will actually help him, or maybe if he will struggle a bit with his rider not having quite as much control, Greg.
All right, Acacia, thank you. Let's get back to pacing here. Who do you guys think is in front early? Raj?
100% I think it's the number 2, who I'm not going to attempt to say his name. He's got the rail. He's the fastest horse in the race early.
Oh, no.
And
Somebody's loose.
We have a loose horse.
Looks like a 1,
Look
but
like
I don't know
number
which
6.
one. Does
Very
it?
stormy.
6? 6. Good call.
All right, being told, yeah, it's very stormy. No Jesse and Chick today, but outstanding rest of that Outrider crew. Hopefully we'll catch up to him.
What is expected when a horse runs off, especially that amount of distance, is that they'll potentially scratch them from the race.
Yeah, going
That's
this
the most likely
far
scenario.
off, I would think this horse is coming out. So unfortunate situation. Almost corralled.
And you can see how tricky it can be. Very stormy. Just took a little hop and threw a little Adrian Peterson little crossover or an Allen Iverson crossover on the Outrider there.
Yeah,
and the Outrider just captured him. And, you know, we just did the feature on Jesse Costa, but the rest of these guys are darn good too.
Apprehending a horse that's loose out there, running as fast as they can, it's a really tough job. We got to give a lot of credit to these Outriders. I mean, New York has some of the best Outriders I've ever had the pleasure to work amongst when I was riding.
And that's Miguel Gutierrez, we're told, who caught up to this loose horse. So well done. Yeah, exceptional work. Now, what could be a very dangerous situation. There's Luis Saez, who will go back to the jock's room as his mount will be scratched here momentarily. I would think.
Rajiv, what do you do on the ride back? You just sit there?
You sit there and you start thinking about, oh man, hopefully everything's all right with the horse and everything. And if it's a horse that was the favorite, you're thinking different than when it's a long shot. I mean, this horse was a bit of a long shot in this race, but if that was the 6-5 favorite like Dillinger, then he'd be super upset.
One less horse for your tweet. But they have not yet scratched this horse. They might bring this horse behind the gate, and you can see Louis right there. They might bring the horse behind the gate. The state, obviously, the utmost importance is the horse's health. So the state vet will take a look, but I don't.
He's officially scratched
Okay,
now.
now scratched him. Okay.
Yeah, he was going towards
front
of the grandstand.
So there's Louis. He'll wait for another race. But still, even with this horse out, look, and this horse was, what, 12-1 morning line. But, intriguing horse coming off a maiden win here, but we still have a lot of talent left in this group.
Yeah, we do. I mean, I thought the horse could be a player in here.
I want to ask Acacia something, because my top pick, Bramito, the number 1, he was looking a bit agitated from my vantage point on the TV, getting a bit hot and sweaty, and I wanted to see what Acacia thought about that.
Which horse?
Number 1, Bramito.
Assuming you set this up in the pre-show meeting this morning, or are you just going on the flow here?
On the flow.
Okay.
Sorry, Raj. I had actually just taken a big bite of a pretzel, so I didn't eat lunch today. But
Oh.
for Bramito, he actually got very, very hot last time, too. So I wish that he was more settled today, second off the layoff and second time up here in Saratoga. But that's not out of character for him. He got pretty washy last time out as well. But I do think he'll appreciate getting back to the dirt.
All right, enjoy your pretzel, Acacia.
Thank you.
Thanks for the feedback.
Let her have some lunch, Raj. Come on.
Yeah, and, listen, she should have her pretzel. We will divulge and we will say we got sushi brought to us, okay, earlier in the show. It was a very, very good treat, so she can have her pretzel.
Shout out Bob Edwards, E5 Racing. Caught some tuna.
And what did I say to you?
Brought it back
What
here
did I
to
say to you?
us.
Was the highlight of my summer here. It was that good.
It was absolutely phenomenal.
Guess we could indirectly thank Carl Spackler, the winner of the 4-star Dave,
Yeah.
why Bob was in such a good mood. So
Grade 1 win. 6-5 favorite here. Dillinger. These three against. We'll see what happens. I said he will win.
I kind of like him.
Okay.
He's got a good pace setup here. He has natural speed. The only other speed in the race really is the number 2, and he's going to be sitting a really good trip. I kind of like Dillinger.
Back aboard. I've swayed you. You're coming around, Raj. I like it.
I'm coming
8-5. Meanwhile,
But
on the 7, that's a horse coming in from Churchill Downs for Jack Sisterson. Again, late scratch of the 6. We're ready for the 4th. Let's go to Frank Miramati for the call.
Showtime is in. Waiting on Tommy Two Socks. They're in the gate. And they're off. Showtime and Dillinger, both alert out of the gate, battling it out through the opening furlong. Turn up the trees, and the green silks is moving up in between, quicker than all. Tommy Two Socks far outside. Neuschwanstein is down on the inside, and a break of 4 back to Bramito. It's Dillinger along the inside of Turn Up the Trees. Those two come to the half mile together with Tommy Two Socks in 3rd, Showtime 4th. Neuschwanstein on the rail. The opening quarter zipped in 22 1/5 seconds. Bramito is at the back, starting to gain some momentum. 3 of them continue to duke it out with Dillinger in front toward the quarter pole. Tommy Two Socks takes 2nd. Turn Up the Trees. Now a length behind in 3rd. Showtime needs to do much better. Neuschwanstein is taken off the rail. Bramito rolling from behind there at the top of the stretch. And Dillinger with a 3-length lead. In 2nd, Bramito, Tommy Two Socks. Bramito continues to close in the center of the racetrack. Has to get to Dillinger. Dillinger, 2-length lead. Bramito just keeps on coming. Bramito comes and gets him late. Bramito, well timed. Mows down Dillinger. Tommy Two Socks and Neuschwanstein.
Wow, that was a tough beat. Had to battle with 3 horses up front. He ran huge. In the end, though, it is the one here. Bramito with the win. Dylan Davis for Linda Rice.
I got you right on the wire, Greg.
He had no chance with that setup, Raj.
Wow. Yeah, you know what? The pace dynamics completely changed when all the jockeys saw that there wasn't much speed in the race, so everyone went out after the lead trying to secure it. Did Dillinger no favor as he ran really well. He ran hard. He absorbed a lot of pace pressure.
Yes,
but
he
he
did.
just wasn't able to hold on. As my top pick, Bramito, comes roaring down the middle of the track.
See what it feels like when you get beat at the wire and you get the laugh in
See
your
what
face?
it feels like when you send out a tweet and then the jockey colony gangs up against you to make sure it doesn't happen?
Yeah, I know. Do you feel like your cigar back in the day, or you feel like Stuart Elliott when you got ganged up on?
Linda Rice off the claim. Dylan Davis with the victory. He has just not stopped, has he, all summer long?
He just rides so beautifully. And the way Dylan rides, if you put it, he rides from the inside out. So he starts at the rail, and that's where he works. But he tries to save ground at every point that he can. And this time he was on the rail, and he had to step 1 pad off the rail to get clear sailing. He just rode such a perfect race.
I think the other part about it is if you watch the race, Tommy Two Socks put a lot of pressure on everybody to set it up for a stablemate.
How do you mute your account?
Yeah, you're going to have to mute a lot of people. No, you know what? Look, you can't be results oriented. It was a winning performance by Dillinger. You were right. He ran extremely well, but Bramito and Dylan Davis just took care of you there at the end. I said it earlier in the show. I want to say it again. Dylan Davis, and if you bet every single horse he has ridden, every single one of them for the entire meet, not including this one because I can't do the math that fast, you'd be up 41%.
That's unreal.
On whatever dollar amount you were spending. Obviously, you would change the prices if you were betting
The
too much.
crazy part is that this horse, in 2023, was 2 lengths behind Highland Falls, who's probably going to be your 2nd or 3rd choice.
32 wins at the meet for Dylan Davis riding. Have you seen, Raj, just a different focus from him coming into the summer?
100%. I mean, not different than how he rode before. because I didn't have much to compare to. I haven't really been following the last couple of years in the horse racing that much, but I can say the way he's riding this meet, he's been so composed, so meticulous with the way he rides, and he's the biggest difference maker of any jockey riding in this colony this meet.
Switch those post positions, though, and it's a totally different story here. Bramito gets the win. Dylan Davis, Linda Rice. It's Bramito, 4-year-old by Gunrunner, with the victory in the 4th.
And they're off in the Curlin, Florida Derby. After 3 quarters in 112-1, Known Agenda is now on to take over the lead. It's Known Agenda for St. Elias Stable. Florida Derby winner, Known Agenda.
At Keeneland, a horse will always be measured in hands. Hands that see, that sense, that speak. Hands that hold our sport to a higher standard. Not for our sake, but for theirs. For the love of the horse, for generations to come.
We're back on Saratoga Live, brought to you by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net today as Bramito gets up in the shadow of the wire, first off the claim for Linda Rice. And Linda really seemed to be appreciating getting back on the dirt.
Yes, he did. You know, I was a little concerned that 6.5 would be too short for him, but you have to take them the way they come up, and I told Dylan he'd be running late. So I was happy. I was happy to get to the winner's circle because I've been plagued with seconds all meet.
and he is definitely an energetic type. I heard Dylan just say he's just a happy horse.
Yeah, he is. He was a bit of a handful in the saddling area, and but he certainly ran well.
Well, talking about surface switch, Yo Daddy in the Saranac, going back to the turf. Can you talk a little bit about the decision?
You know, I'd like to run him against straight 3-year-olds. Otherwise, he has to go 3 and up. The race is right here at Saratoga. We don't have to ship. And I think that there's enough 3-year-old stakes around the country, particularly Kentucky Downs, that would take maybe the top division away from Saratoga. So we're taking a shot, and he's performed well on both surfaces. Right now, you can make a case that maybe he's a little better on the dirt, but we're going to find out this afternoon.
Well, thanks for the time, and congratulations here.
Thank you, Acacia.
Greg?
Acacia, thank you. Yeah, Linda Rice taking a shot, gets another win here with Bramito off the claim. Dillinger winds up second. The other half of the entry, crossing the wire third.
You get that alternate pick 3, and if you had the 6th very stormy. You're a little unlucky because Greg's horse did not win.
I got to say, everyone being extremely kind to me right now on X.
Well, you did have the horse ran well. Maybe me saying the horse had no chance was maybe a more outrageous statement, but I was actually right.
No, you weren't.
He didn't win.
Race 5, 1 mile, 25,000 claiming a race, non-winners at 2 life. This has become now a 4-horse field with all these scratches. Strange we have all these scratches in this spot. Raj, these races, they turn out like this, and now you got 4 left. They can be run a little strange, can't they?
Yeah, because now everyone has a close eye on each other, and especially the favorites. They are more targeted because you know who the horses are to beat, and you're right next to them. You don't have to worry about a big field and going after a favorite and then someone else beating you. So there's going to be a lot of close eyes on the number 1 and the number 5 because they're the 2 horses to beat. And it's going to be a very interesting race. A lot of cat and mouse games happen in these small fields between jockeys, you know, vying for position.
Backstretch Rose, big favorite, going to be way out of it early.
Double or nothing, tweet again.
I'm done.
I
I'm
think,
done.
you know, the other 3 horses in here kind of need the lead. I think that's why the 1 might be the horse that comes off the pace, but
I don't think the other 3 horses need the lead. Because number 8,
I'm kind of with you too, but the 4
much
went gate to wire last time. The 5 Pam Pam went gate to wire 2 back. I think the 8 has no shot.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. The 5 is my
There he
top
goes with that
pick.
no shot again.
Here we go.
I agree with you this time.
We're going to take a timeout. When we come back, we'll talk Chad Brown's 2 very impressive 2-year-olds gearing up for the Grade 1 hopeful on closing day. Stay with us.
$1,500,000, Tom, thank you. $1,700,000, Jody, thank you. 9.5. Thank you. In the back, $1,900,000. Thank you. Please hold your applause.
Serving others is our foundation. That's why NYRA is building a pathway for businesses, individuals, and organizations to support charitable groups connected to horse racing in New York State and beyond. The NYRA Foundation, supporting our community.
There's a big, bold, beautiful world waiting to be explored by you and your friends, of course. But not just any friends, the best of friends. The kind of friends who let you do you. Because in this world, it's positive vibes only. And when you get in the zone here, you stay a while. These aren't just good times, they're the best of times. And your time is now. So come explore. Resorts World.
You have to be here to feel the rumble from 40,000 race fans. Mixed with the Pacific breeze, you have to be here to taste extravagance and witness greatness, race after race after race. You have to be here to take home a memory you'll have forever. This November, when the world's best come to Del Mar, you have to be here.
Here is Mr. Debut winner, Chancellor McPatrick. Where's he gonna go next?
I'm gonna train him up to the hopeful at this point. He came out of the race healthy. First crop McKinsey horse. I like these McKinseys. I have a handful of them. They all act like runners. They all handle the dirt well. And this guy had some trouble early on in his debut and was able to overcome it. So, and I also think longer the better. He was able to get up in a sprint distance, but he's a true two-turn horse.
I know you said to Fabian Pratt after he won, I heard you say, oh, this horse doesn't want any part of the 6.5. He definitely wants to go long. So for him to get up and do that at that distance, how impressed were you?
Very impressed for a true route horse to be able to get there sprinting, and he'll surely never run that short again.
Here we are with Incentive Pay, another debut winner. And we were just talking about the difference in physicality. He's huge. He looks like a 3-year-old already.
Yeah, he does, and he acts like one too. He's another horse that I decided to run early in the meet because he was so advanced mentally. He handled everything well. First crop stallion by Volatile, so he's owned by Klarovich. We've had tremendous success with first crop stallions. You know, both of our Preakness winners, Cloud Computing Early Voting, were first crop stallions. They seem to be good value for us. So we look for good physicals. We're not afraid to take a chance on our first crop stallion if they look the part. And this guy was an outstanding yearling, and he's turned into an outstanding 2-year-old. We're real excited about him.
If these two were to square off in the hopeful together, different running styles. No, he's a little bit more forward.
I'd say so. Now, with Chancellor McPatrick, he did have some trouble down the backside that put him further back than he probably would be. But yeah, this guy has a little bit more zip to him, but both beautiful moving horses.
It's our ABR race of the week, the great one, hopeful premier race of the meet for 2-year-olds, and those two for Chad Brown will break on the outside. Chancellor McPatrick, a lot of buzz about the horse before he ever ran, and wow, did he close fast. Incentive Pay will have that far outside post. Here's that debut for Chancellor with Flavien Prat aboard.
It was
flying late.
Excuse me, Wolfie. It was impressive. The problem I had is that the pace was fast, and those two horses in front with the pink and the green silks, T-Craft and Noble, I'm going blank. Confessor. Those horses did not run well yesterday. And the pace was fast. I think this performance just looks a little bit better than it actually was for Chancellor McPatrick.
It was definitely a butted up performance, but at the end of the day, he did overcome some adversity early in the race. So I do have mixed emotions. I feel like the horse has talent. You know, I don't want to take too much away from him because he actually did win the race. But the race didn't come back that live. 5 of the 9 runners in the maiden race yesterday came from this race. None of them even finished in the top 2. So it's a questionable of who he beat in this race, and the race actually set up for him to close into.
Meanwhile, the stablemate on the outside, light, very light, Paulie, in terms of that buyer speed figure, first time out. But obviously, Chad Brown has some confidence in him to put him in a grade 1.
Yeah, and a lot of people will think, okay, this horse got a candy trip. Well, if you go back and you look, the horse didn't get off to a great start at all. And to go up the rail, I think this was a big education. Now, the figure came back low. I think it came back low maybe because the start, you know, you pay $325,000 for a new sire. Obviously, this horse is a good looker. I like the way the horse finished. I would not dismiss this horse. I get it. Chancellor McPatrick and Ferocious are going to be really tough, but I think that horse is going to improve a lot.
Well, Ferocious JK lived up to the $1.3 million purchase price in the debut. The start didn't look like he was going to. The finish certainly did.
He was sensational. I mean, he ran a fast number. He did it the right way with some trouble. And right here, it looks like, oh, he's going to have to fight for this a little bit. And then before I finish this sentence, he's like 2 in front.
This is the best 2-year performance I've seen in a long time from a debut runner. This is a super special horse here. He's much the horse to beat. I think this is a superstar in the making. The horse that I would put atop my list of any 2-year-old I've seen run.
Not only he's got to prove it. It was a muddy sealed track. He'll have to prove it on a fast track. But, I mean, to run that fast, dominate that by that much in your debut, that's saying a lot.
Yeah, it was, look, I mean, a lot of times we'll see this. You'll see 2-year-olds that have really fast numbers, but they didn't have any adversity. Or it'll look visually impressive, but it's a slow number. He had both. He had a fast number. It was visually impressive. He's expensive. He worked well in the 2-year-old sale. I mean, he's got everything going in his corner.
He has all the tools to be a superstar.
Talk about nerves. Debuting a $1.3 million horse and then breaking bad out of the gate.
That's what it
finishes like that.
But that's what a Kentucky Derby does for you. It gets you $1.3 million horses.
We'll be back 5th to close out the early Pick 5. Well, the post parade next.
This proven son of Giants Causeway has sired 7 millionaires. With over 10% stakes performers, his recent top runners include Tarabi, placed in the Grade 1 Spinaway and Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies, Grade 2 winner Plum Ali, plus these standout performers. A proven value sire, First Samurai, standing at Claiborne Farm,
Back with you on Saratoga Live on our Fox Sports 2 coverage and post parade here coming up in this fifth. We'll start a mandatory pay, pick 5, and there's really the one being dismissed, everyone else being given a pretty legitimate shot. Alley Song, the 8, not so much. We will see what happens. We have an even money favorite. The 1, Backstretch Rose, is going to be coming from very far back.
Yeah, I don't like that in a small field like this. I think that's a distinct disadvantage to not have any early pace. She's going to be left with a lot of work to do, and that's why I picked the number 5, Pom Pom, as my top pick.
Well, I understand the past performances suggest the Backstretch Rose should be far back, but it's a 4-horse field. And Ricardo Santana is one of those riders who I feel like if he can stay a little bit close, he'll do everything he can to stay connected.
I do agree with that sentiment. He's seeing that there's not much speed in the race, and he's going to want to definitely be into the race.
All right, let's start off with the 6-5 favorite. So here's Backstretch Rose, beaten favorite last start after a slow start.
And sometimes a change of barn can change the style of a horse. I mean, I know this horse has run 11 times, but still could be something a little bit different.
Miss Lau, 7-2, Junior Alvarado.
Yeah, I think this horse might cut the pace. I know the 5's got some speed, but I think the 4 might be in a front runner.
I think Raj saw Step Brothers. Is your name Pan? It's Pam Pam, right?
Pam Pam. Yeah, Pam Pam.
I said Pom Pom. 6-5.
Yeah, this horse has some speed, some tactical speed.
And then Alley's Song, 30-1, Morning Line, 8-1 here.
Yeah, 1 for 11 lifetime. The lone win was a long time ago for State Bred Maiden 30, and I think I can help you out. It's 2 M's on the Pam.
One of the great scenes in that movie. So it's weird, Raj, isn't it? In compact fields like this, you can get more traffic problems than you usually would get in bigger fields.
Yeah, because everything is polarized. You have close sight on each horse, and it's easy to keep your competition in check. So it's very interesting. A lot of times these races become really cat and mouse and chess games between these, in these small fields. Essentially, the number 8 is probably not even going to be a factor because she's going to be disconnected early. So it's really like a 3-horse race. Miss Lau is most likely going to be cutting out the fractions. However, I think there's a world that Irad Ortiz sends Pom Pom to the lead and tries to dictate the pace.
So I want to say something about the 8, just really quick. This is the type of horse, though, and I agree with you. This horse, to Paul's point, on paper, no shot to win this race.
Talking about the 8.
The 8, no shot to win this race. However, if the 1, 4, and 5 in a small field start aggressively racing against each other, one of them might exhaust themselves and set it up for the 8 to get involved late and run on late. I don't see that the 8 winning, but I mean the 8 could get involved.
Crazier things have happened. So we'll see.
That
if
would
you're
be
Ricardo,
crazy.
If you're Ricardo Santana Jr. on the favorite, the 4-5 favorite, now the 1.
I did not pick
Who
the
looks
8.
like-
Put that up there.
They're messing with Paulie here.
I don't think that was on purpose.
Leave it up. That was
but
incredible.
It was funny.
You're Ricardo Santana Jr., and here he is, Raj. What's your do you try and keep contact a little bit closer than you have in the past?
Absolutely, and I think Ricardo has that in his mindset. That's why he took her from the pony and is warming her up, trying to have her at least queued up. So the one thing you want is you don't want to go from one extreme to another, right? This filly is a late closer, runs her best races from behind, but you don't want to go from one extreme to another trying to over-send her to be up on the lead. But what you want to do is cut the difference a little bit by hustling away from the gate. Until she gets into her stride and the position that you want, then you can kind of let the race unfold from there. So what I expect to see is when the gate open, Ricardo sends away from the gate to establish some forward position, and then once he gets within the grasp of where he wants to be, he will then let her start flowing. This way, she doesn't get disconnected early and have an insurmountable gap to make up.
Will it be a Hot Springs special coming up here in the 5th? The mayor of Hot Springs, Ronnie Moquette, with Pam Pam at 9-5. Let's go to Acacia.
Yeah, and just wanted to pick up what Rajiv was saying with the number 1 backstretch Rose, as Ricardo Santana was the only one in this 4-horse field to take his horse away from the pony and give her a big warm-up. And I know that naturally she's not as fast early as Pam Pam or even Miss Lau maybe, but I really appreciate that, because I often find too in these short fields that sometimes it's best just to kind of simplify things as well, keep them out of trouble, because there's only a few other runners. Everybody is so aware of where everyone is, and she warmed up beautifully out there, but the only one to actually get a big warm up away from the pony. And she's very fit once again, looks great like she did last time, and yes, she was second best to La Vida Sofia, but that was a horse that was taking a significant drop in class, and so I don't think you could be too hard on her having been defeated as the favorite last time out. The number 5, Pam Pam, for the mayor of Hot Springs, as mentioned, Ron Moquet, is now NYRA's taken her away from the pony for a little bit more of a warm-up, but all in all, she's been pretty relaxed out on the track because she is sharp. Her demeanor is definitely the most forward of any in this field, as she had the cotton in her ears, as you'll see with pretty much all of Ron's horses, and at first he was very quiet with her on the track. I like to see this, that he's warming her up a bit more and kind of saying, hey, pay attention, mama, keep your eyes on the prize here, because she's wanting to kind of toss her head around and do something else besides being focused on the task at hand, but had to go wide last time out and just didn't have quite enough punch. But I think with the drop in class, and she's just so powerful looking in her build, which often horses from this barn truly are. The number 4, Miss Lau, was able to wire the field last time out in a slow pace and an off the turf race, and she had some okay dirt form just running against tougher prior to that, but I know I can see why they put her on the turf. She's very lightly framed, especially behind. She just is much weaker in her top line and in her hindquarters versus her competition in here, which is a big concern for me for her running on the dirt. She's facing, I know, a short field, but a couple of pretty talented dirt-meant horses, not off the turf type of field where she was able to get so comfortable like last time, Greg.
All right, Acacia, thank you. We're going to load up here momentarily. 3-5 now, guys, on backstretch Rose from that inside post here as a deep closer.
Yeah, I mean,
I love the number 5 Pom Pom, but go ahead.
Yeah, I'm with you with the 5. I get where you're going. I mean, you want to take this horse at 3-5. The horse is probably the best horse. I just don't know if you want to take this horse at that short of a price. I get the drop, but I'll tell you one thing. Jorge Abreu is good off the claim, but King McPeak is a tough barn to improve out of.
Pom Pom has a distinct pace advantage on her rivals here. She's been running in races that the half miles have been 46, 46, 46. Pom Pom. I'm not saying the name anymore.
That's Pam Pam. It's all right.
I'm Jamaican, guys. It's hard. It's hard for me.
Let's go upstairs. Frank Miramati, the call.
They're in the gate. And they're off. Miss Lau is hustled out for the lead, opens up a couple of lengths immediately. Pam Pam, backstretch Rose. Ali's Song is fourth, moving up, taking third. So it will be Miss Lau, the clear-cut leader early on, a length and a half in front, making their way onto the backstretch. Pursued by Pam Pam in second, 2 more to backstretch Rose, and Ali's Song. Miss Lau opens it up to 2, 25 and 2 posted for the opening quarter mile. Pam Pam second, backstretch Rose rides the rail, inches a little bit closer willingly too, and 2 more back to Ali's Song as they head to the half-mile pole. It's Junior Alvarado and Miss Lau, 2.5 lengths in front now of Pam Pam and backstretch Rose, second and third. 3 more to Ali's Song, 49 and 2 for the half. Miss Lau now being worked upon to try and maintain the lead as Pam Pam is right up alongside, putting the pressure on and testing Miss Lau to the quarter pole. Miss Lau ahead. Pam Pam. 2 more. Backstretch Rose in third. They're at the top of the stretch, and Miss Lau clinging to the lead. Pam Pam took a run, keeps trying, and on the inside there's room for Backstretch Rose. Santana gets her through, and Backstretch Rose responds, taking over, leaving Miss Lau and Pam Pam behind. Backstretch Rose will win it by 2.5 easy lengths. Tight photo, noses bobbing up and down between Pam Pam and Miss Lau.
Backstretch Rose was in tight quarters. Looked like this could get dicey, but then the inside opens up, and Ricardo Santana Jr. says thank you very much.
What an absolutely beautiful ride from start to finish by Ricardo. I know it's a favorite and it won, but he went out there and executed optimally. The first thing that he did great was putting her in position. She wasn't disconnected like in her previous races where she's way out the back. He made a conscious decision to have her relatively close to the pace and saving ground. That is the ultimate difference maker a jockey can do, and Ricardo just saved ground while Junior Alvarado stepped off the rail. Ricardo took that rail and slipped through. That was where the race was won.
I mean, that was brave for Ricardo to go down in there. It looks like for a second. I mean, he got bumped in there. It got tight. And it was, look, Ricardo sat patiently in behind Rajiv. I felt like right in here, it got pretty darn tight.
Yeah, and as you can see, the number 4 vacated the rail. Ricardo waited patiently for the rail to open and then take it. When Junior stepped off the rail and Ricardo went in there, he's like, oh, he was surprised, and now he's trying to close it back. However, he was already in there, and, he pretty much stole the rail from
Can I ask you a quick question? That's probably like the 13th horse I've seen come up the rail. Can you not hear them?
You can hear them, but at that point, he probably didn't. I don't know. I don't know why he would leave the rail. So I wouldn't.
He tried to close the hole late, by the way.
Yeah. And here, Ricardo, everyone got off to a good start. And Ricardo was trying to, secure his position here going forward. I think he did a good job of cutting it,
But right here, you got to get to the rail. And then he tries to shut the rail off. The horse is already by him. I don't get that.
Yeah.
That was the opening that Backstretch Rose took advantage of and leads to victory. So Ricardo Santana Jr., Jorge Abreu first off the claim with the big favorite, who takes advantage of that opening on the inside for the win.
He had is that his 4th or 5th win in a row? He had a 3-bagger the other day and then another one as well. He had so many second-place finishes, Greg. It was just a matter of time before they started racking up.
We're going to take a timeout. Favorite takes this 5th in this compact field. Backstretch Rose up the fence for the win.
The best 2-year-old by legendary sire Quality Road.
In the back, $1.5 million.
Very, very impressive debut. Cantering home. Could not have been more impressive.
Coast to coast in the American Pharaoh. He's the real deal.
Undefeated and unchallenged at 2.
He's just too good. He wins the Breeders' Cup Juvenile.
Corniche.
Horse racing? Check. Weekly promotions? Got 'em. Huge payouts? You bet. With NYRA Bets. Download the app today and bet on any track, anywhere, anytime with live HD horse races, betting tips and tutorials, expert picks, and more. You bet with NYRA Bets. Join now for a new member bonus at NYRABets.com.
Good magic. 75, $774,000, 775. Want to be 60? That help you 60, 75, 760, 60, 75, and now 85, 785, 85, 85, 800, $800,000. Thank you, sir. Got to be 8, not 25, 825,000, 50, $850,000, 50, 850, 75, about an $860,000 and a half. $850,000 in the back of Woodrow. Thank you.
And my friend, it will be Gordon to win the Belmont Stakes at Saratoga.
Grayson Jockey Club Research Foundation was formed in 1940 with a simple goal: to raise funds for research to enhance the health and soundness of horses. Since then, we've provided millions of dollars to hundreds of projects at universities around the world, leading to major advances in welfare. Our process of selecting and producing peer-reviewed research has become the trusted industry standard. And with your help, we'll be here for many years to come, supporting the health and wellness of all horses.
Welcome back to Saratoga Live, brought to you by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net today. Backstretch Rose gets the win here with Ricardo Santana in the saddle and in those flying P colors as Jay Provenzano joins me here. Jay, what a trip. What a beautiful ride from Ricardo aboard this filly here.
Yeah, he really did a good job. Jorge told him, you know, I really let them go in front of you, sit the trip. And that's the way the track looks like it's been playing so far today. He really gave a perfect ride. You know, at like the 3/8 pole, I was just sitting there. I saw Irad, you know, make his move going into the turn. He was just parked right behind him, and I was just waiting for the hole to open. He snuck through, and, you know, she did the rest, you know. Nice filly.
Certainly is, and she was very game and pulling away there after coming up the inside. But we've seen those silks in the winner's circle for quite a bit. Not over till it's over, but just overall, can you reflect back on this meet and what a great meet it has been for you and your team? And we talked about the difference from last year to this year.
Well, I mean, I don't want to reflect back on it. I want to keep enjoying it right now. I think, about another 11 horses to go, and you know, it's not over till it's over. These are the championship rounds. This is round 15. You know, we're going to slug it out. You know, yesterday I got caught. I got KO'd a little bit, you know. Klaravich won 3, you know, put me 4 behind. He's got nothing else today. You know, we just got this win. We got 2 more to go today. And we'll reflect on it when it's over. Right now, I just want to soak it up and enjoy it.
Fair enough. You absolutely should. Well, congratulations on another one.
Like Rome was built brick by brick, race by race. We're going to take it race by race.
I'm stealing that. Congratulations, Jay. There you go, Greg. Race by race.
He just went Denzel on us there. Not out of it yet. Gets a win here. Couple more chances. Regardless of what happens, I mean, everything they've been sending out flying P, those horses have been running. With the exception of
Chateau.
Yesterday, Chateau and the entry mate who I singled. Oof. But look, they've been tremendous all meet long, and they're going to make it a race to the very end. We would love to see that. Any owners race, trainers race, jockey race, we love to see a battle to the finish here.
It just matters here more than anywhere else. I mean, let's be fair. I don't think the owner's title, the trainer's title, or the jockey title matters even close to what it matters here anywhere else. I don't care if it's Keeneland, Del Mar. I can't think of anywhere that matters more, and so it's always fun no matter who's competing for it.
Got a new audience joining us right now as we get set to set up the 6. Slight pause, and we'll be back. Welcome to those just joining us on Bally Sports SoCal. Those already with us on our Fox Sports 2 coverage. You're watching Saratoga Live. Closing weekend. Hard to believe at the summer place to be here, underway for this Friday action. I'm Greg Wolf. Good to be with you. I'll introduce the team here in just a moment. Our feature coming up next. Grade 3 Saranac and a New York bred. The Big Torpedo trying to make it 3 consecutive victories. Passed on after back-to-back wins against State Bred Company, another chance to collect a State Bred win going against not only Open Company but Graded Stakes Open Company, and will be one of the horses to beat in this race coming up next. We'll see if the Big Torpedo can keep things going as we get a look at just a beautiful day here in upstate New York. Today's action presented by Claiborne Farm. Races 6 through 11 to come. Grade 3 Saranac next, and then it is the start of the pick 6 in race 7. The late pick 5 begins in race 8. Jonathan Kinchin, Paul LaDuca, Rajiv Mirage here with me. We'll bring them on camera here in just a sec. You can play all the action with NYRA Bets. Get that $250 deposit match. New customer bonus with that code at sign up, spot 250. And bet any track, anywhere, anytime, including a pick 4 that's coming up right now here in the Saranac. Again, right there at NYRA Bets. NYRABets.com. For those just joining us and those who have been with us on FS2, Jonathan, Paulie, Rajiv, what do you think about the New York bred, the Big Torpedo, and his chances against Open Company today?
I think he's going to have to deal with some tougher competition and possibly a little bit more pace pressure, right? He was 2-5 in his previous race. He's 5-2 morning line here. That tells enough of a story of it. He's going to have to deal with, Take Me to Church, West Beach. He's got a lot more competition in here than he did last time.
Yeah, this is going to be the toughest field that he's faced. And listen, he's in really good form, too. So he is the horse to beat, I think, going into this race. When you look at the Will Pace, the one West Hollywood is probably going to be your favorite when they spring the latch. But you cannot take away what the Big Torpedo, almost said torpedo, the Big Torpedo has done on the grass.
It seems like if you put the name Torpedo in a horse's name right now, it's going to be fast. And the Big Torpedo has really got some quality. Just today's race, I feel like the dynamics is not that suitable for him as he controlled and dominated against New York breds last time. Definitely a good horse, though.
Little surprised. I mean, that number's going to come down. He's not going to be 7-2, I would not think, in here. Fastest turf race anyone's run in his last start. He should be has the opportunity anyway, to be the controlling speed. We will see what happens. Eric Cancel has been his regular pilot. He will be back aboard this afternoon, and we need to say the favorite right now, look, West Hollywood, Flavien Prat, a chance to set the all-time mark for stakes wins at a meet. He tied the record with 15 in his single meet just yesterday, a chance for his 16th of the meet. Coming up in this Grade 3 Saranac, and if you've not been to Saranac Lake, it is gorgeous here in upstate New York.
Looks nice. It's kind of cold, though, right now.
Weather is taking a bit of a dip.
Yeah. A couple weeks ago, I would have loved to jump right in there.
Get a canoe, some serenity. If you've been struggling with your handicapping, get your mind right. As we get set for this field coming up, what do you guys think of Pratt's chance to get number 16 here on West Hollywood?
I think he's drawn extremely live. He's going to be the favorite in here. And West Hollywood ran well last time. This horse is a half to Pizza Bianca, who obviously won a Breeders' Cup, bred by Bobby Flay. I just think West Hollywood is definitely the horse to beat in here. He's tactical enough, guys, to stay connected to the Big Torpedo as well.
Yeah, you make a good point. This race, he won from way off the pace. He didn't break that well, got kind of put behind the 8 ball. His other races, he's shown speed. So you're right, he can be tactical. Maybe this is more of his preferred running style.
Yeah, he's versatile, so he can adapt to any pace scenario, and he has that coveted inside post position. And that's a big advantage to be able to save ground early and be able to pick his spot. So I expect him to get a good trip. I'm not sure exactly where he's going to be sitting. I expect him to be a bit more forward than he was in his last race, because everyone knows that the Big Torpedo has a chance to steal it on the front end. So I don't think they're going to want to let him just waltz around on an easy lead.
Little disagree. You guys seem to think West Hollywood the horse to beat. I think, Raj, we feel it's the Big Torpedo.
No, I feel it's number 3, Take Me to Church.
Oh, you do? Okay.
I mean, we're looking at his form lines. I love seeing when horses coming from Europe, they're running in Grade 1 races, Group 1 races over there. I feel like that's the ultimate top of the entire turf world division. European Grade 1 races. And Take Me to Church was 5th by 8 lengths in the Irish Guineas. Blinkers on in his American debut, and he's going to get a race where there's going to be a lot of pace in front of him. I feel like that's suitable for European horses. They like to sit back and make a quick run, and the race flow is going to suit him very well today.
All right, we'll get back to it. More coming up. Grade 3 Saranac. After this break, chance for a 16th stakes win at this Saratoga meeting for Flavien Prat. He'll be on the current favorite, West Hollywood, the 1.
The classic looks of a two-turn type, yet the precocious brilliance of an undefeated G1 2-year-old.
Maxfield, a breathtaking run at the top of the stretch.
Maxfield. He took it to the max in his chosen field. Now you need a mini Maxfield in your chosen field. His first yearlings are selling now. Maxfield. Classic looks and precocious brilliance. Darley.